Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow for the last show of the week, building up to the first game in the Premier League. Have a lovely evening. Be safe, everyone. Be safe.
And 2 weeks today, the transfer window closes. Would you anticipate much more business in terms of incomings between now and then?
Well, you can see the league, how unpredictable the league is and the amount of things that can happen on a day. So it's better not to talk too much, be prepared, be open, and hopefully we can wrap up the transfer window in a really positive way.
You were speaking before the Community Shield. You were asked about your long-term future and contract negotiations, and you said there's nothing to worry about, Arsenal fans. Do you see yourself as somebody who can do what the likes of Guardiola and Wenger and Ferguson did and stay at the club for many years and build a dynasty?
I want to do what I'm capable of doing and what is the best for the club. And I feel very, very happy and grateful to be sitting where I am with the people that I work with every single day. And my ambition is to continue this way.
Was it strange at Cardiff on Sunday that you weren't facing Pep Guardiola in the dugout, given that rivalry that's developed and obviously your relationship with him?
It was different. Obviously, I know Enzo really well, but obviously the relationship that I built with Pep when we worked with each other, and then, yeah, the amount of headaches and sweats that he has provided to me over the last 6-7 years to try to catch up to the level and the standards that they set in the league has been an absolute inspiration. I think he's left a benchmark and a mark in this league that it will be history forever, and he made us, I think, all of us better.
Have you had many conversations with him since the end of the season, since you were crowned champions?
I had, and I have due to have an important as well in the next few days, and I'm looking forward to it.
Life after football. For a lot of players, it means going into punditry. Some turn to coaching or working in the game in other ways. But what about the rest? Some former footballers turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros, though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But Leboeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the dramatic diving in the game these days, there's probably tons of ex-pros who've got the acting skills to make it in Hollywood.
In just over 24 hours' time, the new Premier League season will get underway. So with a 9-month roller coaster on the way, we're going to look ahead to what is to come. Just who will win the title, who will secure a European place, and who will go down. You can get involved too if you want to have your say. We'll also keep you updated on the latest football with Brighton and Rangers in Conference League playoff action. Plus, we'll bring you all the very latest transfer news as well. It's set to be a busy show this Thursday evening on Kickoff. Well, a very good evening to you. I'm Natalie Sawyer. Pleased to be back here in the studio. It feels a while, and I'm sure it feels like a while as well to our lioness, of course, Lianne Sanderson, who is with us, and the former Wales captain, Ashley Williams, is here too. How are you doing, both?
Doing great. It feels like I've not seen you forever, but always great to be back with you as always.
And it's not often we're in the studio, so it's nice to be in the studio too. But yeah, really great to see you too. And Ashley, lovely to see you too. How's your summer been?
Good, busy as always. Comes around quick, doesn't it?
I know.
Can't complain now.
No, we can't. Because there will be some out there who've got the withdrawals. They haven't had enough football. They want it back. And my goodness, we're going to be treated, I'm sure, to an excellent season as well. And I think we should start really by talking about who we think is going to win this title.
And it's curse, giving predictions before the season.
I know. Can't.
Stitch up central, because everyone will let us know when we get it wrong. But when I get it right, no one wants to know that.
Have you got it right before?
All the time, Ash.
Okay,
what are you talking about?
Oh, she's the oracle. She knows.
No.
You certainly know what you're talking about. But look, I mean, everyone's talking about Arsenal, aren't they? They're talking about them going on to secure the Premier League once more. And if you go back onto what we just saw at the Community Shield, which I was fortunate to be at for talkSPORT, and I know there'll be many people that say you can't pin a whole season on one game, but they were so dominant in that game. Manchester City were very disappointing. There's no denying that, of course. But just looking at that performance, looking at that squad as well that Mikel Arteta has, you just can't help, surely, but feel as though it's Arsenal's title to lose, Lianne.
It seems that way, but obviously look at what happened to Liverpool last season. You know, they win the league and then they had a poor year. But I think if City was under Pep Guardiola and they'd beaten Arsenal 3-0 in a Community Shield, everyone would be saying City are going to win the league. So I think you can say a lot by that game. I don't think there's any friendly games in football. To be honest, if I'm playing in that Community Shield, I'm like, I want to win it. And I think it was the gulf in the quality from what Arsenal had compared to Manchester City was the thing that I was like, wow, Arsenal were doing bits, and they're also strengthening, bringing players in like Guimaraes, you know, now Konsa as well is about to get done. So Arsenal looks strong.
I think it's important to, it's not Arsenal just having one good season. I know a lot of people had opinions about last season and that maybe the other teams weren't as strong as normal, but the season before there was good. So it's Mikel Arteta has built has come over a few years now. So it's not just a one-off. So all of that work that he's put into them is still into them. They've got all of that experience of just missing out, then finding out learning how to win it. And I just don't see anyone else with that kind of experience of how to get it over the line in this coming season.
And also looking at what City have lost, you know, not just Pep Guardiola, but you're looking at Rodri now. Like, I know Rodri only had a year left on his contract, but like if I'm Man City, I'm thinking, give me 1 year. Give me one more year, because to me, he's priceless. And I think it will give those other teams a little bit more of an edge. You know, look at what City, without Rodri, they're nothing really, are they? Let's be honest. They've got quality players, a lot of players that I'd love to have at Man United over the years, Kevin De Bruyne and top quality. But I do think Rodri leaving them is massive, along with Pep. And I've never been a big fan of Enzo Maresca. Like, never.
Oh, you're already going for it. No, wait, 8 minutes in, I'm not a fan.
No, but
why? Why do you not like him?
Just don't. When he was at Leicester, wasn't having him. When he went to Chelsea, I know the Chelsea fans were having him, but I think, like, I don't know now. I'm just not seeing it. Just not seeing it.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, a little bit, if I'm being honest. I don't know what it is. Obviously, I don't know him personally, but it doesn't surprise me that Rodri's gone under Maresca. I feel like
So Pep was still there, you think?
Yeah, yeah. And I feel that Maresca's probably not that fussed about it. He seems like the type of manager to me that he wouldn't want someone that strong of a character in his dressing room. He wants to rule the roost, and Rodri being there would probably be an issue for him, I think. But I do agree with you. If you're going to lose Pep, don't lose Rodri. Just keep Rodri and just let him just see that changeover happen a little bit. But I do think we would have saw probably a clash with certain players like Rodri and Maresca.
I mean, obviously, it's come from Rodri that he wanted to leave. He obviously wanted to return to Spain. You can speculate as to the reasons why. Some might say it's because he quite frequently talked about the number of games that you have to play in the Premier League, the exhaustion of the Premier League when you think about it as well, for the physicality, perhaps not so much in La Liga. And he's not necessarily going to have to play week in, week out like he would probably do for Manchester City. So you can see why
he wanted Real Madrid, though, didn't he? I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. It's quite a one came out of left field for me with Barca, because it was pretty obvious that he was quite open about wanting to go to Real Madrid as well. So I think he's top quality. I agree with what Ash said, and I think if Pep was still there, it's all hypothetical, isn't it? Because we don't know. But at the same time, I do think if Pep was still there potentially, I mean, because let's be honest, since Rodri came back from his injury the first season, and these things happen, I've had that same injury. He wasn't that same player, but look at him at the World Cup.
I was going to say.
He was balling out like he was been Rodri from 5 years ago. So he's quality, and I do think it'll be a massive loss. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling Maresca, regardless of that game last week. I've just never been a big fan, and I think we're looking at new managers come in. There's 9 in the Premier League in this off-season, and I feel like he could be one of the first ones to go. Genuinely, we're talking about Iraola at Liverpool, but don't know why. I just have a good feeling about him.
I just don't think he doesn't really endear himself to people. Maresca does. He doesn't seem to care of what you think about him, which is fine. That's fair enough. As long as he gets the job done. Do you know what I mean? If you're getting the job done, and you can kind of have that little bit of arrogance about you.
Because Pep never really loved the media that much, did he? I mean,
he's the same a little bit, but they dealt with it. But if you look at all the other managers coming in, like Iraola and Xabi Alonso and that, you just kind of take to them a little bit easier than you do with Enzo Maresca.
I mean, it's interesting when you talk about Enzo Maresca and what he was like at Chelsea. He was very outspoken with a lot of things he wasn't happy with. And do you remember in the December sort of time, just before their form tailed off in December, I think it was that loss to Fulham where it all went wrong for them. But he kept saying, we're not in the title race. Even at that point, they were in the title race. I remember thinking, and I'm not, you two would know better than me, of course, but if I'm hearing my manager say that, that's getting into my head. That's telling me, well, my manager's not backing me to do well. I don't know if that's how players will hear it.
But the thing is, publicly, he might be saying that, but in the dressing room...
Well, why say it at all, then?
I don't know. I don't know Maresca, but I think publicly, if he's saying that and he's also saying that in the dressing room, then you're thinking, well, what am I here for then? You don't want your manager really saying that, because best believe if a player came out and said that, they wouldn't like it. Do you understand what I mean? The manager seems to be able to say whatever they want, but when a player says that, we're not in the title race, they'll probably get called in for a fine.
So it sounds as though you're both are you both thinking that Manchester City aren't really going to be the straight title race contender for Arsenal?
I don't think so. No, I've always said, I always thought you can't bet against Pep Guardiola's teams. So they're always going to be there or thereabout. This year, I don't see them being like they could do, like just because of what they've already got in them. Enzo Maresca might be great for Manchester City. We don't know all of these types of things. I just don't see them having it in them to push Arsenal for the whole season.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, don't underestimate Bernardo Silva as well. Like the amount of quality that they're losing. And I know these things happen, but I just don't think they seem to have been able to replace the quality that they've lost. But Pep Guardiola was so majestic in everything that he did, and he had that, didn't he? A bit like Sir Alex Ferguson. People feared playing against certain teams based upon the manager. I don't think it's going to take a long time, and I'm sure City fans can feel that as well.
So if it's not Manchester City, who is going to be the
Man
challenger?
United. I'm joking.
What was that? 13 minutes in.
I'm joking.
Go on. Who's going to be the direct challenger?
I don't think anyone. Right now, I can't see anyone. Do you know what? I think Manchester United will have a really good season. I think they'll be good this season. I think Chelsea will obviously be better. Spurs will be better than they were, obviously. I just can't see any... Liverpool, not really. I just think Arsenal are so well prepared. And we know it doesn't always go how we think this week, just before the season starts. But right now, I haven't got a case or an argument for any other team that are going to go blow for blow with Arsenal.
It's funny as well, because what a time to be Mikel Arteta and Arsenal, where there's no Jurgen Klopp, there's no Pep Guardiola. Talk about the managerial situations. And I think there's a lot of stuff up in the air, isn't there? We don't know how Chelsea are going to be under Xabi Alonso. you know, Enzo Maresca, Iraola. There's a lot of question marks in there. So I'm actually quite excited to see how these players...
You could even question Carrick, because this is his first full season.
No, we're not questioning.
I'll put Carrick. I will put Manchester United in that conversation, definitely.
To win the league?
No, I'm talking about as in questioning. We don't know what to expect of a Carrick Manchester United with European football.
True, but I do think I know what to expect of Michael Carrick, and I'd expect top 4 minimum. Minimum. But do I think we're going to push Arsenal? No. I don't think we're at that point.
Well, close the league now. Let's not...
No, but it's true, though. I mean, we could see Arsenal now, go on to do what City did for so many years, where they just control everything going on. And you're right. What I said made a good point earlier, because I've been on here many times saying if Mikel Arteta didn't win the league this year, he has to go. Because what more? How can you keep finishing second? Oh, we need this, we need that. And now they've done it. I think that's a massive weight off their shoulders. And, you know, fair play, because they've built something, haven't they, over the years. Sometimes these things take a bit longer to come into fruition. And maybe when you give the manager time, look what can happen.
And you talk about building. I mean, you can see the work they've done in this transfer window already. Bruno Guimaraes being one of the key marquee signings for them. But Christos Solis, he looked pretty decent in the Community Shield. There's obviously talk, you mentioned Ezri Konsa. It was a question that I remember I put to Stuart Pearce and Sam Matterface, our commentary team in Cardiff, asking them about, is this a complete Arsenal team at that point, the squad? And I remember Sam saying, well, defensively, that's the only issue you could raise, in the sense that William Saliba's got injury problems. But it seems now they're fixing that by bringing in Ezri Konsa. So does that mean now they have the best squad as well?
I think they've got the best squad in the Premier League. I think to go and challenge, as we saw in the Champions League final, if you want to go and dominate Europe, they need more attacking threats. I think they need more attacking weapons, different weapons. You know, something we were speaking about earlier, but the rule changes might affect them. A lot of their goals come from set pieces and those types of situations. Can they open teams up a little bit more in open play? Maybe. But right now, I think they've got enough to deal with this Premier League.
And they did last year. I mean, they always seem to get a centre-back injured in the season that has a serious injury. And Kepier came in, Mosquera came in, and they did a really good job. And then they got injured. So I think this leads me to believe that maybe Saliba's injury is a bit longer term than people realise. I'm not going to speculate over an injury, but I don't think you go and buy Konsa in that way. I mean, would you?
It will be an issue when Saliba gets back.
That's what I'm saying.
You've got 3 good ones for 2 positions.
And you, obviously, as we've known over the years, when City dominated, when Chelsea were dominating, they had strength in depth, right? They did. And I just don't think Konsa goes there if, not that I'm saying Saliba's going to be out for long term, I don't know, but that's what leads me to believe that. Because if I'm Konsa, I'm not going there. Because I think that Saliba and Gabriel will be the players that play. Konsa will be on the bench. He's not gone there to sit on the bench, is he?
Well, you wouldn't have thought so. Being a mainstay in that Aston Villa defence, that's for sure. Look, there's so much more for us to discuss on what is going to be an eventful season, no doubt. And if you want to have your say, you're more than welcome to get in touch by the usual means. 03717 223344. That's the number to call us on. That's the number to WhatsApp us on. 81089 is the text number. There's a huge game kicking things off then tomorrow night. It is the champions Arsenal against the new boys Coventry, back in the Premier League. They go to the Emirates then, and you better listen into that one live on talkSPORT, kicking off at 8 o'clock. Let's check in with what's happening in our live sport that is ongoing right now. Brighton are in Conference League playoff action. Ian Abrahams, how's the scoreline with this one?
First leg in Tromsø 0, Brighton 0. One good chance at either end, though, in the early stages of the second half. Larson was clean through after a Route 1 effort by Tromsø, and a really good save by Bart Verbruggen, spreading himself well, tipped the ball behind. And then at the other end, Ayari inside the penalty area, a really good feet by the Swede to create an opportunity. Again, the goalkeeper for Tromsø, away to his left-hand side, pulled off a really smart save. So far, not as easy for Brighton as maybe they thought it would be. With commentary on talkSPORT 2, it's Tromsø 0, Brighton 0.
Ian, thank you very much. And it was a delayed start to the second day of the first test between England and Pakistan, but they are still playing, so let's check in with that one. Sam Allard.
Yeah, delayed start today, but England still making really good progress today. We can play until 7:30 this evening. England are 363 for 6. That's with a healthy first innings lead of 192 runs. 4 batters getting to 50 today. No one able to get to 3 figures, though. Cox and Root put on over 100 runs together for the 4th wicket partnership. Cox getting to his first first maiden 50 in just his second test match. He made 73, Joe Root made 66. Then Brooke and Lawrence put on over 100 runs together. Brooke got to 91 before being bowled by Usman Ali. Dan Lawrence also out to Usman Ali, trying to play a slog sweep. Pakistan have just picked up their 7th wicket. Usman Ali's now got a 4-fer. He's trapped Gus Atkinson, LBW, for 3 runs. So England now 364 for 7, leading by 193 runs.
Sam, thank you very much. So it is a happy Premier League Eve, but who will be lifting the trophy come the end of May? Why not join us? Give us your say. Tell us who you think is going to win the title. Maybe we've missed a team as well, because we were all very much focused on Arsenal, but maybe someone there knows something that we don't, and there's a little gem that might come and surprise everyone come the end of the season. 03717 223344. That's the number to call us on to join us on Kickoff.
I put it on silent and plane mode the whole time I was on holiday.
Good lad.
I
did message you and you pied me.
Well,
I was like, it's fine.
Well, I didn't get it.
Fine.
I didn't get the message.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm back now, right?
Yeah.
And I got a little surprise for you.
Oh, you got me a present.
I've got you a little prize.
What you got me?
I've got you.
What you got me? Ah! He's got me a Jason Cundy Tottenham shirt.
There you go, mate. You wanted one.
Is this official your shirt?
That's the official, right?
This is a match-worn shirt.
It's a match, well, probably match on the bench.
That's amazing.
I've got a little Sharpie here, mate, and I'm going to sign it in the break.
I want you to sign it. We have to come up with something. What are we going to put on it?
Dear numbnuts.
And that's amazing. Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
It's in my mum and dad's house.
That's so good.
There you
That's
go.
fully fledged. This is proper Premier League.
Yeah.
There you go,
mate.
thank you, mate.
That's
That's
all
going
right,
to go
see?
up on the wall. I
it?
didn't get you anything.
That's all right.
So, sorry. I didn't think we were exchanging presents.
Well, no, it's fine. You asked. You did say to me, if I find one, can I have it? And there you go, mate.
You found it. Well done.
Found it, matey.
That's so good.
There you go.
Fits as well. Fits.
Excellent.
I love the old shirts because they're all massive.
Yeah.
So I can get that on.
Do you want me to sign it? You're going to stick it on your wall? You're going to.
Yeah. Of course I want you.
When Spurs play, you might wear it, Jay.
No. Yeah. What's number 26?
No, I got bumped out, didn't I? Jurgen Klinsmann took me 18.
Yeah, and that's Ledley King's number as well, isn't it? Literally, Cundy's the worst player to wear number 26 for Spurs.
A very good evening to you. Thank you very much for tuning in to kick off this Thursday night. And of course, tomorrow the Premier League season does get underway. The question is, will Arsenal be able to defend their Premier League crown? Certainly from our panel here of Lianne, Sanderson and Natalie Williams, there is no doubt that Arsenal will win this title. But the question is, who could challenge them? Because it does feel as though this season has an element of an unknown about it. You said it earlier on, Lianne, 9 new managers. I think that just adds to the fact that there's a lot of us going, well, no idea what's going to happen. Because it's so uncertain, even though, all of the challenges that on the usual challenge that I'm talking about for Arsenal, most of them have new managers in place or a manager that's going into their first full season in charge as well. So maybe you could say the advantage that Arsenal have is the stability that they have with Mikel Arteta, who's approaching 7 years in charge now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like I said, what goes to show you is if you stick with the manager, and I've been on this show many times talking about Arteta should go based upon not winning anything and being backed financially. But now he's won something and he's doing well. And I think, just looking at it, I know I'm a Man United fan, as everyone knows, but I do think under Michael Carrick last year, you could see progression. Under Ruben Amorim, completely lost their way. But do I think they're going to challenge Arsenal for the title? I think they can beat Arsenal, as they showed last year, definitely. But challenging, so close but so far. But you're looking at a Chelsea under Xabi Alonso, Iraola at Liverpool. If Iraola can make Bournemouth finish in 6th last season, then he's going to be able to get a tune out of these players at Liverpool. But they haven't really recruited, have they? They've lost Mo Salah, Konate. I know Konate wasn't great in his last season, but Van Dijk hasn't really been at the races for a little while. So you're looking at this team and you're thinking, I'm sure Kirkes was buzzing that Iraola went there because obviously he played under him at Bournemouth and he did well there. Didn't have a great year last year. So there's a lot of questions, but I think it's exciting. I do think for football, it's unpredictable. One thing we can predict is Arsenal will probably win it comfortably because I don't want to get too carried away, but I do think they look far more elite. But you can never write off a team. We're sitting here saying Man City are not going to compete, but they've got Haaland, Shirky, they've got quality players. So if Maresca can get a tune out of them, then they will be competing. I still think City are further ahead than Man United. And that pains me to say it. Do you know what I mean? We can't, one season they haven't been great, but they are still further ahead than United.
Again, I don't want to keep harping on about the Community Shield. The one thing I would say about that performance for Manchester City, it didn't look like they knew what they were doing as a team. It was all very well as individuals, but whereas Arsenal, are a unit. They are a perfectly drilled team. It didn't quite feel that was the case.
Well, that to go back to both your points in the previous question that alludes to this one, you've got Arteta. Most players coming back from the World Cup and know exactly what their job is, their roles in the team. Only the new boys that's easy to get them up to speed. These other ones, not only have you got new players coming in, you need pre-season, but what are the managers trying to get in? So if you're Enzo Maresca, do you go with, I know they have similar philosophies anyway, but do you keep it exactly the same because it's worked, or do you put your... I think we saw that with Arne Slot a little bit where he's tried to change it a bit more to what he wanted. The players are used to one thing. We've got so many situations like that across the league. You just don't know. We can't sit here and say this is going to happen. Apart from what we know, which is Arsenal with Mikel Arteta out of those top teams. If Manchester United do what they did under Carrick, they're going to be up there as well. But the other ones, it's like, well, how do Liverpool look with Iraola? Are they going to look like the Bournemouth with maybe more quality? Then that's a real team to deal with. But we don't know if these players just want to go back to the Jurgen Klopp style. You're not sure. There's so many factors with a new manager when he comes in. Does he try and keep it the same, or does he change it all, or does he change little bits bit by bit? We don't know.
We saw that with Wilfried Nancy at Celtic, didn't we, when he came in and then he tried to change too much coming from Columbus Crew in the MLS, and then look what happened. Martin O'Neill had to go back in there and sort things out. And it's difficult for managers because it's a bit like when David Moyes went in after Sir Alex Ferguson. It's almost like a no-win situation because how do you take over from the best? There's this expectation. As a manager, I'm sure they all have their own philosophy of what they want to do, but I just think Iraola seems a bit more, understanding of that player conversation, like you were saying about Rodri and Maresca. Like, can they be on the same team? Maresca seems like the type of guy, his way or the highway. So it's all, and that's why I think he's not going to last. Genuinely. I think he could be one of the first managers to go. And I know I'm calling it early, but genuinely, because I just think Iraola seems to have a philosophy and you can feel it from him when he's talking, whereas Maresca just always seems angry.
Well, let's hear from some fans who are joining us right now. Let's go to Paul, who is a Liverpool fan. Evening to you, Paul. How are you?
Yeah, hi, guys. How are you doing? All right?
Very, very well. How are you? Are you excited for the new season?
Yeah, very. First of all, can I just say Lianne's one of the best, by the way, on the radio. She always speaks common sense. Always. The worst thing about her, she's a Man United fan. But
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. My dad's called in. No, thanks, mate. I appreciate that.
We'll let off with that. But she's brilliant. I always enjoy listening to her. I think there's just 2 points I want to make. I think Arsenal, because Arteta's he's had this tendency in the past to sort of over tweak things. And he sort of put players in the wrong position. any good players in certain positions, really, that could come into it. And then the second point is, Liverpool have still got 6 of the players that won the league 2 years ago in the start 11. We've still got 6 players in that first 11. Add to that Isak, Wirtz, Frimpong, and whoever else comes in. So if Irio can get it going early, which might be difficult because it looks like the players were knackered in pre-season after the first half. But if he can get it going, then we could put a run together and we could challenge. But at the minute, I don't think there'll be genuine challenges. But you know, as I say, 6 players out of the 11 that won the league, that's a decent number to have.
Paul, thank you very much for your call. I mean, obviously he's right there. There's that element of a muscle memory. I always like to refer to that with teams when they've done it before. It is key to have that experience, but there is also talk of other players coming in. Bradley Barcola being one of those. I mean, he's an exciting player. And if you're talking about a marquee signing to potentially replace a Mo Salah, then you're getting a decent one there.
You are, but it's a massive price tag, isn't it? I mean, I've heard they want over 120 mil. And I know it's the market now, but I think looking at players like Rio Ngamoa, like he's played a little bit in pre-season, but as we saw for England when he was called up as a training player, like he's got a bit about him. So maybe, you know, Liverpool and Iraola are thinking, oh yeah, we're going to look to him a little bit more because he's got quality. Question marks have always been in that back line. I think last year, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be like Frimpong in there, Kirkes.
But the only thing I'd like, look at these 5 names that I've just wrote down: Frimpong, Wirtz, Kirkes, Rio Ngamoa, and Isak. Didn't not take out Ngamoa, but they didn't deliver last year on what we all thought. I remember sitting at this same time saying Liverpool are stacked with the players. What they did this season before, the signings, amazing. It just didn't work out. But they now have a year's experience in the Premier League. So we got to be looking at those players and almost thinking they're new signings. Is that Isak's got to have a better season than he did. Wirtz is a quality top world-class player. He can't be as bad as he was last season. The 2 fullbacks, hopefully they understand the positioning a little bit more than they did last season. They both looked uncomfortable, especially Kirkes, and we know how good he is in the Premier League. So can Iraola, like you said, seems like a really likeable guy, brilliant man manager. Can he get, if they that could be like 5 new signings for them.
Yeah.
But then you still look back at the defence and say, can you go toe-to-toe with what Arsenal's got? Because if Arsenal lose a defender, full-back or centre-back, another one slots in and does an amazing job. I don't think Liverpool have got the quality or depth there at the minute.
Oh, well, they brought in a couple of defenders in this transfer window, Jean-Marie Jacquet and Ronald Araujo, who comes from Barcelona, the second. I think the biggest issue with him is he had a lot of injury issues, and so that could be a problem. But you never know. They obviously have seen something in him and think that he could be a perfect partner for Virgil van Dijk, as of course could Jacquet potentially as well. He needs to step up
though, Nat. Sorry to interrupt, but Virgil van Dijk, as much as I'm a Man United fan, I like Virgil. Like when he walks into a room, if anyone's been in his company, like he's got presence about him. Yeah. But I think often times last year, always excuses. Whenever they lost the game, if he made a mistake, we all make mistakes in football. I often feel like he'd blame the refs, or he would just kind of often say, oh yeah, it was because of this reason. But he just didn't look at it. And as a captain, I feel like he has to step up a little bit more on and off the pitch, to be honest.
Well, it could well be a big season for him. You're absolutely right on that. Let's check in with what's going on with Brighton right now in this Conference League playoff. Ian Abrahams.
Still Tromso 0, Brighton 0, and Brighton getting just a bit bogged down, really, in trying to get a first leg lead. They might have it now. The header's just over the top of the crossbar, and that was really close for Brighton. Kozia Dubry's just come on. He scored a lot of goals for Bolton last season when on loan with them. By the way, 400 Brighton fans at the game in the Arctic Circle tonight. All of them are going to get their money and their travel paid for by the players, who also ensured they get a scarf and a T-shirt. I bet the T-shirt's gone down well in northern Norway tonight. Anyway, live on talkSPORT to the rest of the game. Tromso 0, Brighton 0.
Ian, thank you very much. And it's now close of play in that first test between England and Pakistan. Sam Ellard.
Yeah, another good day for England in control. 366 for 8. That's with a healthy lead of 195 runs. Harry Brook, who was dropped on 1, he hit 91 off 93. He put on over 100 runs with Dan Lawrence, who made 51 on his return to the test team. Earlier on, Joe Root and Jordan Cox put on 150 runs with the 3rd wicket. Cox making his first test 50 in his 2nd test match. Joe Root dismissed on the home ground for for 66. The pick of the Pakistan bowlers, Usman Ali, the left-arm spinner, taking 5 wickets, finding plenty of turn late in the day. So the close of play on day 2 at Headingley of this first Test match. England going along very, very nicely on Joe Root's return as Test captain. 366 for 8, they go to close, leading by 195 runs.
Sam, thank you very much. OK, on the way, we'll continue to bring you your calls, your views then on who will win the title now that we are, of course, heading into the new season, which kicks off tomorrow live on talkSPORT with Arsenal against Coventry.
The man to your left was in Seattle, Miami, Houston, LA. He was all over the place. He was. He is Danny Murphy. And he was magnificent, particularly, and he went viral.
He used to have a cat called Bob. The game's not that bad. Yeah, he jumped in the back of a Royal Mail van and we lost him.
We have a double substitution for Norway.
Sad, really.
Alexander
anyway.
is being replaced by number 22.
Now, you were talking about Bob the cat. Yeah. Tell us about Bob the cat, because by God, everybody went crazy when they heard that.
Well, firstly, it's nice to be appreciated, isn't it, for the good analysis and all the hard work I'd done on the teams, the formations, the players, the hours of effort you dedicate to your job. No, it was just one of those things that the game wasn't very good. We were chatting away. Oscar Bob came off the bench and it just came out, and then it went on and on.
Bob the cat. Why have you never shared this with me and Simon in the many hours that we share together?
Well, because I've got you two on a pedestal of being intellectual, sophisticated men. Well, at least one of you.
I was going to say.
So I didn't think that'd be a topic that you'd be interested in, but no, it was good fun.
Yeah.
Good fun. I think it's nice.
I don't like cats.
Do you not? No. Well, that doesn't surprise me. Why don't you like cats?
I've never liked cats. I like dogs.
You don't like people.
Who would have thought a sporting event's halftime show could have a bigger impact than the game itself? That seems to be the case with the Super Bowl halftime show. In 2024, Usher brought in an audience of 180 million worldwide, the biggest in the event's history. But how did singing and dancing get to be the centerpiece of America's biggest sporting event? The first Super Bowl was held in 1967. Initially, the halftime show was a display purely for the fans in the stadium, with marching bands, dancers, and American patriotism for all to see. And that's what it was for the first few years. Disney had a go with a few questionable displays in the 1980s, but it wasn't until '93 that we got the first glimpse into the future of halftime shows. Michael Jackson's stellar performance gave NFL execs something to think about. A raft of massive names followed, including Diana Ross, U2, Janet Jackson, who gave us the most famous or infamous wardrobe malfunction of all time. So how many people are involved? To give you an idea of the scale, Rihanna's 2023 performance included 800 people, and experts reckon it cost $13 million. What's even more impressive than some of the names on the bill every year is the fact they do it for free. The artists know the exposure they'll get from doing the show will rocket them up the charts across the world. The Super Bowl halftime show will be a fixture in pop culture for years to come. So the question is, who next?
Thank you very much for tuning in to kick off this Thursday evening here on talkSPORT. You're in the company of Ashley Williams, Lianne, Sanderson and me, Natalie Sawyer, as we look ahead to the new Premier League season, which kicks off tomorrow night. The first game seeing the champions Arsenal hosting Coventry, of course, the championship winners from last season. We'll continue our discussion then on the title race and plenty more as well. But we're keeping an eye on what's going on with Brighton and their Conference League playoff. They're playing that in Norway. But a little bit later on, in just over 20 minutes' time, Rangers are back in action. After dropping out of the Europa League, they've fallen into the Conference League playoff. Their first leg is at Ibrox, taking on the Czech side Jablonec. And talkSPORT's Paul Mitchell will be covering this one for us. Paul?
Good evening to you. I can tell you that Rangers' Conference League debut has not really gone down too well with the Rangers fans. An awful lot of empty seats ahead of kick-off. We'll see if people are just coming in late. Rangers did get back to winning ways at the weekend. Derek McInnes will hope they can kick on against the Czech side, whose total population could fit inside Ibrox. After last week's Europa League exit, group stage football is the consolation prize on offer. Now the Conference League, well, it's not as great in terms of money, but still 20 to 22 million euros if you win this, so Rangers are certainly interested. Derek McInnes still trying to find his ideal team, understandable with squad turnover, having played only 5 matches. He makes just one change from the side to beat St Mirren in the Premier Sports Cup here at the weekend to give him his first win. Dan Neil comes in for Nico Raskan, immediately sparking questions. Will Nico Raskan be on the move somewhere? But he's on the bench and available tonight. Rangers against Jablonec is a big game for Rangers, and kick-off in a few minutes' time.
Paul, thank you very much. Yes, I thought it was an 8 o'clock kickoff. It's not. It's 7:45. Motherwell are also in qualifying action right now at home. They lead Freiburg by 1-0. Reagan Charles Cook with an early goal in that one to give them the lead, although they're 10 minutes into that game. So still early, but so far so good for Motherwell. And Brighton still being held to a goalless draw against Tromsø in the first leg of their Conference League playoff, but we'll bring you further updates on that as and when. Let's get to more of the title race chat, shall we? And we were all talking about Manchester City a little bit earlier on, unsure perhaps of Enzo Maresca and what he might be able to deliver. Let's bring in a City fan to give us their perspective. John, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, we're good. You are well?
Yeah, we're all well.
Hi, John. You're right.
You might have heard that we're all a little bit unsure about Manchester City this season. How are you feeling about them?
Don't be unsure.
Oh, go on. Tell us more.
Right. So let's just put last season into perspective. We were pants in the middle part of that season. We were rubbish. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We only finished 7 points off them, and the last game was like a bit of a testimonial one. Going, Johnny Stones was going, Bernardo Silva was going, and all that. So let's park that for the time being. Okay. So I've been on your show, and I said Pep Guardiola's football. We had 82% possession of the football at United the other season and lost 3-0 or whatever it was. Possession of a football, fantastic, great start, and all the rest of the good stuff. It's about putting the ball in the onion bag more than the others. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. It's a very simple game. So, and I also called it for being over 50s walking football with a Chuckle Brothers twist in the middle of third of the field where it affects nothing. So to me, to you, to me, to you, to me, to you, to me, to you. I called it. So I'm hoping, right? Because we've got Semenyo, who's fluid and he can move quickly. Doku is fluid and can move quickly. Now, Doku, how can any defender play against him? He doesn't know what he's doing, so how can any defender know what he's doing? But what we've got up the middle of the park, ladies and gentlemen, is the Viking. Get the ball into him, service him, and he will score goals. Very simple. So the back four for me, Ruben Diaz, like a tractor in treacle, don't play him. So you've got Mark Gahey, and then you've got Kusanov, AK-45, mint, brilliant, quick, bit impetuous, great player. And then you've got Vardial, who was voted, not this World Cup, but the World Cup previous, the best centre-half in the tournament, if I'm not mistaken, all coming back from injuries. And Nunez had a great season at the full-back position, in the right full-back position. Now, let's fast forward. So we've got rid of Tijani Reinders, not a great big miss, but we made a few quid on him. Savino, not going to be a big miss. Rodri, massive miss. I was asked on Goldstein when Kevin De Bruyne was in his full pomp, who was our best player. I said our best player at that point in proceedings was Kevin De Bruyne. Our most important player was Rodrigo. However, in the World Cup, looked dominant. Yeah, you put him in the Premier League, he will look slow. Great footballer, but that ACL at this time in his career has took a lot out of him. So he was never the quickest, and his thought process got him in the positions where he needed to be. Now, I think that's great business by Manchester City, and I know everyone's going to say, you lost Bernardo, you lost John Stones, he's gone, Kevin De Bruyne went the season before. So let's just go back a little bit further in time. We lost Sergio Aguero, we replaced him. We lost Vinny Kompany, we replaced him. We lost Fernandinho, you never replaced him. We replaced him. So what we've got at the moment, we've got the Turkey in the midfield. Now, that's a street baller, that. No, let Cherky do what Cherky does. Let him just get the ball, and he'll mesmerise people. Yeah, Phil Foden needs to step up to the plate. His career nosedived alongside of Kevin De Bruyne's drop off. So Phil Foden, step up to the mark, sausage. You need to put a performance in. So,
John, I think you should be on the coaching staff. I think you're absolutely brilliant. Like, your knowledge is incredible. I mean,
we're all won by it as well.
I
Like,
think-
City to win the title now.
Yeah.
That's be fine.
I wanted to ask John, though, quickly, like, how do you think you'll challenge then? Because given what you've just said, you feel like you're going to challenge Arsenal.
Oh, absolutely. So let's go on to Arsenal. That's where I was moving. Okay. So take WWF out of the box.
WWE, actually, they changed their name.
They had to change it, didn't they?
20 years ago.
You're right.
World Wildlife Federation.
That's showing your age, John.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, aren't I just 35 plus that if you need to know. But if you take the wrestling out of the box, how many points did Arsenal gain from wrestling? Let's be right about this. It's not sour grapes. They won the title. You win the title over 38 games. Fair play to you. But there's a way of winning the title. If you take that wrestling out the box, there's an awful lot of 1-0 victories that wouldn't have happened. Let's be fair about it. So we weren't at the races for the mid-season part. We were rubbish. We were getting beat by all and sundry. And it was because we were more interested in the possession stats and making 3 million passes and 98% accuracy. Hang on. It's in the middle third. It's not affecting the game. Move the ball wide to Semenyo. Let him run at the defenders because he'll run them ragged, as will Doku on the other wing. And then you've got Cherky, who's unpredictable. Now, if you put a bit of structure behind Cherky and let him just be free-flowing, he'll pick a pass. He won't be able, he's not got the exocet ability of Kevin De Bruyne where he can put it on a sixpence from a distance. But he's got that little turn around the corner ball.
No, Cherky's a baller, John. I remember we did the game, Man United Leon, and he was playing for them, and I said, Man United need to get him. He's got that maverick type of style that I think being coached out of the game now. You know, he's struggling and all that. I'm all right with that.
Just one last question for you, John, then. Obviously, in terms of competitive action, we saw them in the Community Shield. I know there'll be some now say it's not a competitive game, but many people say it would be. You're not alarmed by what you saw from Manchester City in that performance?
Well, again, I've alluded to this many, many times on the shows, the various shows that you're on. Yeah, we didn't win a trophy for 35 years. Lianne, you had a banner up in the Stretford end, 34, and the clock that was ticking, 35 years. Now,
I didn't put a banner up.
Not you personally, but you know what?
I know what you're saying.
She funded it.
I know what you're saying. Glazers out, but yeah.
34, 35 years, we hadn't won a trophy. So now, if I was in the final of the Egg and Spoon race at the local village fair, I want to win that. So I want to win any trophy that we get because it's a trophy. Let's not discount it. It is a trophy. So silverware is what it's all about, isn't it, surely? So I don't class that as a friendly.
Okay.
I wanted to win that. I wanted to win it desperately.
So you're not worried by that performance because it was a very disappointing City performance?
It was disjointed. It wasn't fluid. It wasn't very good whatsoever. And Arsenal looked to be on the straps. There's no argument with the result. The result is what it is. However, do you remember when we played Liverpool and we had Darwin Núñez and Erling Haaland and everyone's going, Haaland missed the sitter and Núñez had scored the winner? I said, let's just see how the season racks up. So the first 5 games, Haaland registered 10 goals. And I think Darwin Núñez had hit the bar and the post about 50 times but not registered a goal. So let's not get carried away by it. It's the start of the season. Yeah, I want to win it. Of course I want to win it. And I think the fans that travel down there, they want to win it. And everybody involved in it should want to win that game. We didn't. It wasn't good. Let's get back. Let's get that ball wide and let's feed that Viking because he is phenomenal. He's the best in the business. That's how games are won.
You're a great caller, John. I have to say, you've been absolutely brilliant. And maybe there'll be people out there now thinking, actually, I need to revisit my thoughts on Manchester City after that call. John, thank you very much. Best of luck to the season to you as well. Let's check in quickly with how Brighton are faring then in this Conference League playoff. Ian Abrahams.
Tromsø 0, Brighton 0. Not long to go now, but I can tell you that Tromsø have missed a golden chance in the last couple of minutes. Grun was set clear through. He was onside, played onside by Brighton defender on the far side of the pitch, and one-on-one with goalkeeper Bart Verbruggen. Tried to chip him, and he made a right hash of it, chipping the ball wide. It was a golden opportunity. Looks like Brighton might have to go back to the Amex next week, level at 0-0. Into the final stages, live on talkSPORT 2, Tromsø 0, Brighton 0.
Ian, thank you very much. OK, we're going to take a break. We have to after John. He was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. John, if you don't have a podcast, why not? You should. Because
he needs to answer the questions, though, other than that.
He's very much a politician, is John. Knows how to work around a question. But I tell you what, he's very convincing. We'll round up your calls after the break as well when we hear from you on who you think will win the title with the season kicking off tomorrow night, live on talkSPORT.
Danny, when you look at it, United in that fairly congested midfield area, say Baliba comes through the door, Tielemans is there, Santos, Mainu, Bruno Fernandes. Well, it's going to be a mighty old force in midfield, is it not?
It looks a very strong group of players, all giving little different parts of what you want. A far cry, really, from what we've seen over the last couple of years. United struggling in midfield areas. And I think we're talking about one of the biggest clubs in the world. They'll be looking to try and compete for the Premier League and the Champions League in the next couple of years. Of course they will. That's the aim of a club like Manchester United. So you need at least 5, when you think about it, in the middle of the park who are going to be pushing each other, especially if they play a 3. You know, Bruno's probably the one standout, you say, in all the big games he's going to play. Yeah. He's got great durability anyway, and he's the match, the game changer, the match winner, the creative force, the goals. I would imagine for me, out of the others, Santos, Baliba, both young lads, both got more to come. Tielemans is more rounded, more ready to take that on. I think Tielemans has
Where's it leave Mainu? A lot of people asking me to ask you that. Well, and what's your ideal starting 3?
I think that would depend a lot on where they're at when they come in and how they adapt to the pressure and expectation of being at Man United, because that's never easy. I think initially he might go Tielemans, Bruno and Mainu, because Mainu knows what the manager wants already. I think Baliba will become one of the main men. Good evening to you. This is Kickoff on talkSPORT, and you're tuning in to Lianne, Sanderson, Ashley Williams and me, Natalie Sawyer, as we take you through until the sports bar at 10 o'clock. We will round up your calls on the title race in just a moment, but it's all over in the first leg of the Conference League playoff for Brighton in Norway. Ian Abrahams.
Tromsø 0, Brighton 0, so Brighton have it all to do in the second leg next week at the Amex, which will be live on talkSPORT 2. And although they forced the Tromsø goalkeeper to make more saves, arguably the home side had the best two chances, both in the second half. Larsson beat the offside trap to go one-on-one with a Bruggen, who made a really good save, spreading his body wide to push the ball behind for a corner. And then 5 minutes, Lianne Grun again one-on-one with the keeper after the offside trap had been sprung. This time chipped the ball wide. Much for Brighton, maybe in their first competitive outing to think about. But in the end of the day, in the Arctic Circle, there are no polar bears, no northern lights, and no goals. It finished Tromsø 0, Brighton 0.
Ian, thank you very much. The second leg then to come on the South Coast next week. We are continuing to talk about the title race. We heard from the very engaging John just a few moments ago saying there's no reason to panic if you're a Manchester City fan. What about if you're a Chelsea supporter? London, good evening. How are you?
Hey, good evening, Radio Gold. The awesome two are back. Thelma and Louise of radio.
I remember you, London.
I remember
you.
As soon as I saw the name, all right, here he is. The charmer is back.
Ashley Williams, you're in the presence of greatness and excellence right now, sir.
I'm aware of that. I'm aware of it, London.
I promise, I know you are. I know you are, sir. Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, London. So come on then, Xabi Alonso at the helm now.
Before all of that, what was John on about? He must be a fantastic salesman. He must be a fantastic salesman.
He was fantastic.
He's trying to sell you a dodgy vehicle for the price of a brand new car. You know, Man City are a dodgy vehicle, second-hand car that's been running for years, and now he's trying to sell them like it's 2018, 2019 again. I'm not convinced.
All right.
I'm not buying that.
All right, London. So if that's the case for Manchester City, what are Chelsea?
Oh, Chelsea. Oh, well, of course you've got to back your team when the season begins, you know. I'm just worried about one position, you know. You know, the goalkeeping situation, I just don't understand. But I really look at our commitments. You know, we are not in Europe. You know, that's what convinces me, like, we can probably do something here. And, you know, I mean, Alonso, you can play this difficult formation to break down, you know, 3 at the back, you know, 4 across the middle, which can, you know, convert into 5 at the back without the ball. And I think we have the personnel, you know, to do that. Of course, Lavia is a big part. If we want to play such a formation, you know, if we can keep him fit, that would be great. But with that said, you know, I know a lot of people have been watching, you know, preseason and stuff and be like, oh, yeah, they've been letting in goals in this amount of minutes. Liverpool, I even told you girls before, that Areola, I'm telling you, that Areola, he is the one I fear will probably beat us to the title.
Oh.
Mr. Arteta, I'm not convinced. You and Arteta and Man City, they'll be fighting for 5th position. The loser's going to go 6th.
5th?
Nah, London, nah.
No,
Yeah. What are you trying to sell us now?
Girls, I am not. Listen, I told you last time I spoke to you, first and the last time I spoke to you. Arsenal will be struggling to make it to the Champions League. They'll still be celebrating this victory of Premier League, and they'll be so focused in the Champions League, because they are so desperate to win that. And by the time they realize, you know what, it's really kind of late for us to make a charge, for the title, they'll put all their eggs in one basket, go for the Champions League, and you know what? As we always know how Arsenal's story ends, they'll probably be out in the semi-final, and by then they'll be really, really struggling to get in the Champions League, and they'll probably just about make it in 5th position. Man City, forget them, 6th position. I'm not buying that vehicle from 2018 to 2019.
All right, London, let me ask you, if you're saying they're 5th and 6th, who are 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th?
All right, first is in order. 1st and 2nd, I can't put them in order, but it's either Chelsea or Liverpool.
Okay.
Then third, North London will be white as it should be.
Tottenham.
Wow.
Okay.
You're putting Tottenham above
Arsenal.
Wow.
Okay.
And City.
And who's 4th?
And there'll be like a sport between. They won't just be behind Spurs. There'll be a club between Spurs and Arsenal, or Spurs and Man City, and that'll be Man United in 4th.
Okay.
So that's my top. That's my top 4. Fifth is either Arsenal or Man City.
We'll have to get you back on London at Christmas and before the end of the season to see these predictions. You might be right, but I don't think Arsenal will be in 5th.
Can't see them dropping off that.
No.
But this is the beauty of a start of a new season, London, and we appreciate you calling in. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
The beauty, because we can all just say whatever we want and what we feel and what we think.
What?
And
Through all that, he had such a valid point that Arsenal are desperate for the Champions League.
Yeah.
And that might just, if there's anything to distract them, they might go like guns blazing for the Champions League. But I still think they've got so much depth. But that was just one thing that I hadn't really considered, the desperation for that. Getting so close last time, maybe, but no, I'm not agreeing. No, I'm not agreeing with that. It might distract them a little bit. I'm getting swayed by the callers now, John.
I know.
London.
When it comes to your predictions later, you'll be like, I just don't know. You just haven't a clue.
He made also a good point about Sanchez as well, the goalkeeper.
Yes.
Like, I know a lot of Chelsea fans and even just football fans are like, why have Chelsea not got another goalkeeper? It's like the biggest conundrum, isn't it? Because you need a good goalkeeper, as we've seen.
Yeah.
Look at what happened. I mean, I have to give Mikel Arteta credit because taking David Raya from Brentford, I was like Ramsdale FC. I was thinking he was the best goalkeeper in the world. And then he goes and picks up Raya, taking Arsenal to another level. So, as we've seen,
some of us
we go
Brentford. Surprise.
You thought Brentford, do you? I didn't know that.
I've not even mentioned it, can I say? How many times have you mentioned United?
How's Henderson doing at Brentford?
Listen, new chapter. We're very happy for him to be, heading to new pastures, and we'll see how that gets on at Chelsea in the so-called, not bomb squad, but bomb squad. Anyway, that's to come a bit later on. Shall we check in with how Rangers are getting on in their Conference League playoff first leg at Ibrox? Paul Mitchell?
It's been a little bit niggly. It's Rangers 0, Jablonec of Czechoslovakia 0. Now, what's been interesting is that the crowd have been quite muted. A lot of them came in quite late, but they are a little bit muted. They need something to happen. JD Gassama, who's got 5 European goals last term's had the best shot of the match. That came after 8 minutes, good control, and he just whipped it off target. Rangers starting to get a little bit more of the ball, a little bit more possession, but at the moment, as it stands, quite a niggly little game, lots of fouls. It's Rangers 0, Jablonec 0.
Paul, thank you very much. Okay, on the way next, we're going to continue to discuss the side who may have title ambitions this season. That, of course, is Lianne Sanderson's Manchester United, but in particular as well, focus on one of their forwards who doesn't want to be spoken about.
For the record, we've had 7 different Premier League winners.
Over 33 years, over 34 years.
But this time,
wow.
But this time, Simon, do you not agree that this is probably the most competitive ever Premier League season on the horizon?
For participation, not for winning. You're going to be one of the 4 clubs that has the biggest turnovers is going to win the league. Aston Villa are not going to win the league. Newcastle are not going to win the league.
So how do you explain Leicester when they did it?
A rare and absolute anomaly that was never allowed to happen again, because all the big clubs sat on their hands, suddenly decided that they could all do things in a certain way, and they got caught with their pants down. Even to the way that they allowed Leicester to play. Everybody knew how Leicester played. Drinkwater gets the ball, looks up, knocks it long for Vardy. And yet on the last game of the season, they were doing the same thing, and teams were still playing the same way against them. So don't ask me how I explain that situation, but it's not going to be repeated, and it hasn't been repeated since. And that was now a decade ago. So who's won the league since then? And who won the league prior to that?
So tell me straight, how many teams this time around do you feel can aspire to win the Premier League?
2, 3. But that doesn't mean the league's not competitive. The argument, why would you suggest that governance needs to be brought in to the most successful league that has been the commercially most successful league in the history of football? Why are you regulating it? What are you regulating it from? I understand what he's saying is that the Premier League clubs want some degree of control. They want governance. Yeah, they want good disciplines. They want good governance. They want good regulation. Is your regulation with the consequences of the way that clubs are suing one another now, the way that they're suing, the way that Man City have been hauled over the coals and been sat in abeyance for 2 years because you can't prosecute them properly, is that good governance and good regulation? Because to me, it doesn't look like it.
over the years, we've been treated to some amazing exhibition events in sports. Some become iconic, but many fail to live up to the hype. So what are some of the most anticlimactic exhibitions? Technically, it wasn't an exhibition because it ended up being sanctioned as a pro fight, but it basically was. 2024 saw Mike Tyson return to the ring to fight YouTuber Jake Paul. The event, which Paul won, was streamed by 65 million people on Netflix, making it the most streamed sporting event ever at the time. But many complained of buffering and freezing. And as for the fight itself, well, it was considered an entertaining disaster. I mean, it wasn't prime Tyson, he was 58, and after the fight, Paul, who was 27 at the time, said he'd actually gone easy on Tyson towards the end. Now, Mayweather-McGregor in 2017 was a better watch, despite Mayweather going rope-a-dope early on, but it was way too expensive. Pay-per-view was 75 quid, and in the stadium, the cheapest ticket was over 370. Now, this next one you could have watched for free, only because the pay-per-view had streaming issues, so they had to open it out. I'm talking about Tiger versus Phil in 2018, which was nicknamed The Match. Massive names and massive rivals going head-to-head. On paper, it worked. In reality, it didn't. The two players were mic'd up, so we all thought we'll get fascinating insight. We'll be able to hear them insult each other for 18 holes. But what we actually got was more heavy breathing and sniffles. And for two GOATs, the golf itself was bang average. And speaking of GOATs, let's end with Messi and Ronaldo. In 2023, an exhibition between PSG and the Riyadh All-Star 11 saw them share a pitch for possibly the final time. To be fair, it was a goal fest, which PSG won 5-4, and Messi and Ronaldo both scored. But it was obvious they were past their prime. El Clasico, this was not. And with it being in Saudi, there were more sports washing claims. So there you have it, exhibitions that have let us down. And I didn't even have time to mention the Community Shield.
To you. Thank you very much for joining us this Thursday evening. I'm Natalie Sawyer, and alongside me here in the studio, two legends of the game, shall we say. Ashley Williams, the former Wales captain, and former Lioness Lianne Sanderson is alongside me as well. We're keeping you across the live football that is taking place this evening. Rangers are in Conference League playoff action. That one got underway around about 15 minutes or so ago. Brighton came away with a goalless draw in Norway, in Tromsø, for the first leg of their Conference League playoff as well. Motherwell took an early lead against Freiburg in the same competition, but the German side have equalised now, so it's 1-1 in that game. And there's also Hearts, I should say, are also in action. They're taking on Rapid Vienna, that one goalless currently. Also in League One, Sheffield Wednesday taking on Bradford this evening. That one's kicked off around 6 minutes ago. Goalless it is currently too. So lots for us to keep you up to date with, but also lots to look forward to with the new Premier League season kicking off tomorrow night. It gets underway with Arsenal against Coventry, live here on talkSPORT, where you'll be in the company of Adrian Durham. But we've been talking a lot about the title race, and for Lianne and for Ashley, not putting words in your mouth here, you're both thinking it's Arsenal's to lose. We did have some fascinating callers telling us, John, Man City fan, don't discount Man City, gave us a wonderful rundown of the reasons why we shouldn't discount them. And then London, the Chelsea fan, joined us to say that it's either going to be Chelsea or Liverpool who are going to win the title, and you expect Arsenal and Manchester City to finish outside the top four. Make of that what you will. But what about Manchester United? What are you expecting from them this season, Lianne?
Minimally top four and a trophy. I think, you say no. Yeah, and a trophy. Whether it be FA Cup, Carabao Cup. I like Michael Carrick, and I went early last season when he was interim. I said I want him now, based upon the reaction and the response from the players. Sometimes, we've probably both played for managers, Ash, where Tactics is great. You need all that. But fundamentally, you have to know the basics of football and you need your manager to get a tune out of you. And I think Michael Carrick did that. And I think he's continued to do that with the players. Do I think we'll win a Premier League under Michael Carrick? Not particularly right now. But I still think Man United need to strengthen. I've got us down, and I know we're doing predictions later on in the show, but I've got us down to finishing third.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. And I like what Michael Carrick has been doing since he came in. I think he knows the club. I think he's getting a tune out of the players. There's an identity. There's a feeling.
But forgive me, and I want Michael Carrick to do well because it's a British manager. We want to see more English managers doing well. But wasn't he always going to do all right? Bear in mind he was taking over from Ruben Amorim.
No, it doesn't always work that way. Go on.
No, playing players in the right position for a start was a winner.
I just think this, if we go back through the Manchester United managers, we always thought someone was going to do a little bit better. Now, I know it was so dire under Ruben Amorim. Yeah. I mean, most people could probably go and change formation. It would have helped. But he did so well. Like he didn't just make it a little bit better. He did so well. His form tables, it was so good. I just think that if Manchester United are able to get a couple more players, I think they're one of the teams that could have a run at the title.
So what are they lacking then, if you're saying they need a couple
I think defenders. Yeah. I think centre-backs. If you look at the full-backs, they're still in there. I think you made the point earlier to me, we might have been off air, but they've still got the same defenders that they had 5-6 years ago, which have gone through the bad times at Manchester United. They need a centre-back. They definitely need a left-back and a right-back. World-class players that they can stand on. If we look at what we're saying about Arsenal, they have a solid back line. I'm a defender, so I'm going to say that that's so important. To win anything, you've got to have that defensive solidarity for your flair players, and they are very good. That's the one thing Michael Carrick got right. Going forward, they were so good. Mbeumo, Cunha, Fernandes, all of them were so electrifying. Sesko, they started to get good as well. So I do think they've got a squad that can maybe challenge, if he gets it right, maybe challenge.
Because you know what I like about what he's doing? I think he's just getting the best out of the players individually. I mean, I agree with what Ash said about defensively. And I was saying, 5 years ago, we started the season with Shaw, Dalot, Maguire and Martinez. Now, Martinez can't stay fit, always injured. Luke Shaw had a great season last year, played in every single game for the first time in a long time. I thought it was unfortunate to not get picked for the World Cup, genuinely, but that could divide opinions. Majraoui comes in and out, not really going to win you a league, potentially, So, and to be fair...
Yoro's not convincing.
Well, do you know what? Lenny Yoro, I agree with you on that, but there's a player in there, but it's just, I don't know, when is that going to come out? When he got there, you think, okay, he's young and all that, but I do think they are lacking in those areas. I mean, I'm happy with Tielemans coming in. I think Cunha was brilliant last year, and Mbeumo, like Ash said, was brilliant. I still think we need someone else that can put the ball in the back of the net. Like Xerxes coming off the bench. Sesko either scores bangers or he missed sitters. So
does Marcus Rashford fit that bill in some way?
Do you know what, Nat? As a Man United fan, we always want Rashford to succeed. Always, genuinely, born and bred. That is his song, right? He loves Man United, and we love him too, but he's 28 now, Nat. How long can we keep talking about Rashford? Oh, yeah, but there's a player in there. Yeah, but there's a player. When is that player going to come into fruition? And to be honest, sometimes he has to look from within because, he went to Villa, did okay, didn't really do much. Goes to Barcelona. From what I've heard, he's done okay there, but then they go and bring in, Anthony Gordon for double the price. So weird one, really. And I think this is a massive time for Marcus Rashford because in reality, he's only come back to Man United because no one else wants to pay his 300 grand a week. That's the reality. No one wants to do that. But I hope, obviously, that he does perform. But I'm really shocked. I didn't think I'd ever be sitting on the show saying Rashford was back at United because I thought that was done. And maybe Michael Carrick is the manager that can get a tune out of him. But there comes a point, similar to Jadon Sancho, where a player has to look from within, Ash. You can't keep blaming everybody else all the time. You have to look from within. And ultimately, people are going to talk about him. I know it's a bit tongue-in-cheek in gist with the whole... when he said about why do you keep talking about it?
Indeed. This was when Gary Neville brought it up on the Overlap podcast and obviously Jamie Carragher was like, no, why do we have to keep talking about him? And that's where Marcus Rashford responded on X, if you hadn't seen it, where he said, thanks to Jamie. He said, it would be great to be able to get my head down and play football without my name being mentioned every day.
Then do that then, though. Get your head down and play football, right?
And I to give him credit, maybe he went away, to Spain, tried to play football there. I think his problem is that he's so talented. No one can argue that when he came in, we all thought he was going to be the next best thing. And he's had a good career. He's had a decent career, better than most people in the country. But you just feel like there's always more from him. And why can he not put those pieces together and be consistent, even for one season, have a really good, strong season? I don't know what that is. I agree with you. If there's anyone that could do it, you'd like to think it was Michael Carrick. If he doesn't respect what Michael Carrick says, which I know he's got the respect of that whole dressing room right now, he's never going to get it. So, and then people are going to talk about you, just like we spoke about every other player on this show. We're going to speak about Marcus Rashford because he's a good player and he's England international and he's someone that doesn't always live up to his potential. So we're going to talk about him and wonder why that is.
And that is it, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's the reason he's brought up is there's essentially a disappointment that he's not fulfilling what people want to see from him.
But the thing is, though, and Simon Jordan made a really good point the other day with regards to, was he ever a world-class player? Do you understand what I mean? Like, was he ever that player? And I agree with that. I'm like, was he put up on this pedestal because similar to Garnacho when they're young, even Makeda back in the day, burst onto the scene, do really well. And I think the thing is, Marcus Rashford's quite frustrating because I wish I had the attributes that he's got. You know, he's got everything. And you're thinking, well, what is it then? Like, why is it that he can't be consistent? And that leads me to believe he has to look from within. Wayne Rooney made a really good point the other day and he was talking about it. Like, body language is everything. I'm not saying players have to be bouncing off the walls. Not everyone does that, do they? Martial was never like that. But ultimately, when players look like they don't want to be out there, then you start to think, well, maybe they don't want to be out there. Well, if you're performing and putting the ball in the back of the net, no one's talking about your body language, are they?
No, I know what you mean. I mean, Bruno Fernandes could be one of those that's on either
But he
side
cares,
of it.
though.
No,
He shows he
I'm not
cares.
saying absolutely, and he performs.
And he annoys people, but...
Yes, but there is that, sometimes you look at him and think, is he really a leader with his body language? But I know what you're saying.
I get that, and he has frustrated the life out of me for so long, Bruno Fernandes, until probably last season when I changed my opinion, and I was like, he could have moved and gone somewhere else, and he stayed. He made that clear, and he dug that team out, and he didn't want to jump ship. And for all he's throwing his arms in the air and moaning at his own players and stuff, he's normally the one that would score a goal, step up, take a penalty, a free kick. He definitely put his neck on the chopping board every single time. So you can take the petulance.
Yes. And actually, when you think about when it wasn't going well for Manchester United, he'd often be the one that was put in front of the cameras and he never shirked it. And I was told, I've got people that, I know people that work at Manchester United who have said he's always seen it as his responsibility as the captain that he has to do that in a positive way, not as in I have no choice. He knows that's what he's got to do. And again, so you can see there is that leader, of course, in him. But it was interesting to hear that when I was told that the other day. Let's actually hear from Michael Carrick, shall we, on Rashford. This is what he had to say in his media conference earlier.
Been pretty obvious since Marcus came back training with Cobby and Leach, pretty much in Dublin, that he's come back fantastically well. You know, he's enjoying his football. He looks fit, he looks sharp, he looks strong, he looks ready to play football. So I've been delighted with him since he's came back. Yeah, of course he can play through the middle. He has done. I wouldn't say it's necessarily his number one position, but he can do that. And I think we've got forwards that give us that flexibility right across the front line that we've used all of them pretty much in slightly different roles. So I think for us to have that option is really good moving through the season, obviously.
Well, it certainly sounds as though Carrick is wanting to utilise him this season. Can you ever have a clean slate? Is that really a thing in football, Ashley?
It is with individuals. So for Michael Carrick, I think it's only right that he gets a clean slate. That would be wrong to judge him on something that he hasn't done yet this season. I think the fans are a little bit different. Obviously, they've got their opinion. It sounds like to me that the consensus around the Manchester United fan base is they don't particularly want him back, and I completely understand that as well. But as the manager, I think it's your duty, whilst he's still a Manchester United player, that you welcome him back, see how he performs, see what his body language is like, how is he around the place. But bear in mind, he's a Manchester lad. He's now 28. You'd be expecting him to come in as a leader. That's what I would be wanting to see. I want him to lead, help the young players, and now step up and be that person that we're all talking about. And if he doesn't do that, well, now you've got an issue because you've got a player that no one else is going to pay for, and he's just around the place. So I don't know how Michael Carrick deals with that. Ideally, you'd want him to come in, do all those great things, and be another player that you can play and use, because if you can get the best out of him, some of the moments he's produced in his career have been world class.
I think Man United fans own that as well. Want nothing more than Rashford to succeed. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, I didn't think he'd come back to Manchester United, but hopefully he does well. And I agree with Ash. Like, if he's not getting if Carrick can't get a tune out of him, then no one can. So, and the reality is, I agree, he should get a clean slate. I'm shocked he's back at Manchester United, but the wages is the situation. And I hope he does well. I hope he does well, because if he does well, then he's going to play and perform and he can be consistent.
Right. Well, Manchester United and Marcus Rashford, something that we didn't think we'd be talking about this season, but it seems as though, and good to hear that Michael Carrick very much happy with how Rashford is looking then heading into this new season. Talking about a new season, Rangers obviously in the Scottish Premier League, their season got underway. Not the best of starts for Derek McInnes, but they are in Conference League playoff action right now, having dropped into that, losing in the Europa League playoffs earlier on. They're in action, as I say, right now. Let's check in with Paul Mitchell.
Well, it's Rangers 0, Jablonec 0. Now, I mentioned it wasn't great, but it was a little spicy. That's changed. It's just not spicy at all now. Rangers have had a couple of moves forward, but nothing absolutely devastating. James Penrice looks like he'll be a good pickup. Former Hearts fullback brought in from AEK is certainly providing a danger down that left-hand side. But the Rangers fans are desperate for players to do something, but it's just not managing to find a way into the area, and Tess Jan Hanses in the goal for Jablonec. So at the moment we have played 35 minutes at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Jablonec 0.
Paul, thank you very much. Hearts are a goal down at home to Rapid Vienna in their playoff, and Motherwell against Freiburg remains 1-1 as that is now a half-time score. And in the only game taking place in the EFL this evening in League One, it's Sheffield Wednesday against Bradford. That goalless heading into near the 20-minute mark. On the way, we're going to turn our attentions to Harry Kane and his possible Premier League return and discuss one of his prospective eventual England replacements, maybe, who's lost his shirt number from last season. That's next.
Mo's phoned us up, Liverpool fan. Right, Mo?
100% coward. Where you been?
How are you, Mo? Where you been?
Where you
I've
been?
been here. I've been busy.
Oh, of course you have. Where you been? What you been up to?
It's like you, Jimmy G. Where have you been? You've not been here for a while, and neither has Candy. I mean, Candy's been trying to get his hair like growing, but he's looking quite smart, Candy.
Yeah, it's come back,
Candy.
mate. Back. The hair is back. Everything's...
Are you going to be talking guff this season, Mo?
What are you doing this season, Mo?
Listen to that. Look, I've been listening to talkSPORT all day, and obviously been hearing the ex-pundits. I mean, what is this about Arsenal going to dominate? What is Martin Keown on? What is going on? They just beat a poor City side yesterday. It was only a friendly. I mean, what's going on? Arsenal are going to dominate. There's only one team who's going to dominate this league, and that is the boys. The best team on the planet, Candy and Jimmy J. The best team on the planet. You saw them playing yesterday. Wow. You know what, Candy? I can't wait to this league to start. I am telling you, we're going to win the quad, Candy. Quad, Candy.
There it is. There it is.
The quad.
The quad's back out.
Quad back.
Listen, well, come on. Look. Why you got music? Why are you putting laughter track on, right? Look, let's be honest here, right?
Mo, listen, let's talk about your mob, right?
You shut up, yeah?
Let's talk about your mob.
You shut up. Candy, you shut up. You can't talk. No.
Mo, what's going on at Liverpool? What's going on, mate? What's happening at your place?
Candy, look. Candy, we're the best team on the planet.
You're not, though, are you, mate?
This is Kick-Off on talkSPORT. Thank you very much for tuning in to Ashley Williams, Lianne, Sanderson and me, Natalie Sawyer, as we take you through until the sports bar at 10 o'clock. Lots of live football taking place this evening. We'll keep you abreast of everything that is happening. A lot of Scottish teams involved right now in these Conference League first leg playoffs. So we'll continue to round up what is happening in those games as and when. And also in League One, there is Sheffield Wednesday against Bradford, which is goalless at present. But lots to look ahead to with the start of the Premier League season almost upon us. In fact, this time tomorrow night will be 24 minutes into Arsenal against Coventry. And we did have a message. Is this my mouse? Oh, here we go. Oh, I've lost it. There was a message here from a oh, here we are. There we are. Thank you, Ali. It says, this is from Ashley, who... Oh, not you, Ashley.
Not me?
No. You're not from Leamington Spa?
No.
No, just checking. Ashley from Leamington Spa says, I'm a Coventry City fan. I think, what a great time to play Arsenal. First game of the season. And I honestly think we can get something there.
There's a lot of optimism going on with these fans.
I know. This is the most positive talkSPORT show I've ever been on.
Isn't that what you want, though? That everyone should be optimistic. Now, come your first game and the result, you might want to readdress that because you never know how those games will end up, of course. But I like the positivity. You've got to be positive going into a new season. And for Coventry fans, I mean, there's a generation of fans who've not experienced top-flight football. It's brilliant, exciting for them. And yeah, quite a game for them to kick off the season. Can they get anything out of Arsenal? Just checking.
Listen, it's football, and that's why we love the sport, isn't it? Because anything can happen the whole season or even tomorrow night. So they can, of course, they can. Why can't they? Because it's just players against players. But it's a tough ask. That
I mean, the fact they're even back in the Premier League is unbelievable. Like I remember when I was younger, like Gordon Strachan, Dion Dublin, their team were ballers. Jimmy Hill, the manager. It was brilliant, wasn't it? So the fact they're even in the league, and I'm glad that Frank Lampard stayed as well because there was talk about him going back to Chelsea and all those things. And I feel like he deserves this opportunity to be at a club like that, bring him into the Premier League, not as much pressure. But having said that, you know what fans are like, is if you don't get you, they'll probably be looking for him to go. Do you know what I mean? It's quite fickle, isn't it? Look at Steve Cooper at Forest when he brought them into the Premier.
But I do think for Frank Lampard and for that football club with what they've been through, it's a great first game. It's the one you want. When we got promoted with Swansea, we had Manchester City defending champions first game of the season. We loved it. 0-0 was half time was 0-0. End of the game was 4-0. We lost, but it was still a little bit like it's just so long in your personal career and the club to get there. You're just like, well, at this point we'll just take it and then we'll get together and we'll figure out the rest of the season. But you just want that glitz and glamour first game.
Yeah. In a way, you want to get it out of the way, essentially, because you never know what's going to happen. But one game will not define their season as well.
No.
So, you know what, Ashley, you should be positive because you just don't know how this season is.
There's no pressure either as well. It's at the Emirates, that game.
Well,
free hit.
You can hope. You might hope that you catch them cold. You'd rather it be at Coventry for their first game of the season. I'm going to bring up Brentford. Obviously, when we played Arsenal in our first game in the Premier League. I'm just saying it helped that we were at home for that first game of the season. It's unfortunate that Coventry aren't, but still, why not? You never know. Catch them cold, and it could be a fascinating night for you, Ashley, and all the Coventry fans that make that trip to the Emirates. Obviously, switching from the Emirates to a player that plied his trade at Tottenham, did fantastically well for them, and then ended up moving to Bayern Munich. Of course, we're talking Harry Kane when he joined the German side in 2023. He left the Premier League having scored 213 goals, just 47 short of Alan Shearer's tally of 260, that record in the Premier League. There was always talk about potentially he could come back, maybe want to break that record. But it seems as though he's kind of pouring cold water on all of that. He said, when I first left, for sure it was something I thought I would definitely be coming back. But he says that itch isn't there as much anymore. I am extremely happy here in Munich, I should say. I just think the team we have here and the manager, my family is really settled here. It's just about being in the best place possible. Never say never, but for now I'm concentrating on Bayern Munich and we will see what the future holds. Is it a bit of a shame that he's not going to come back maybe and break that record? Or do personal records matter?
I think they do matter, but I think we care more than he does about this record. To be honest, I mean, he is like a god in Germany. Like when I've done a couple of games there last year, like I got picked up at the airport and they literally would not stop talking about Harry Kane. It does help that he's banging goals in. Yeah. But I think we want him to come back. We want the romance of him coming back to England. You know, he's the England captain. But I think we get consumed about it more than probably he does, right? Because now he's 33? years old.
33, yeah.
33. Like we were saying earlier, he's probably going to have to come back soon if he's going to break that.
I think you'd have to do that now to break the record. And clearly he's not coming back now. But also, why would he? Why would he? Why would he want to for that record when he thinks he's going to go and win the league again next season? He's going to challenge for Champions League. His family are probably settled. He's settled. All to break a record that either he doesn't break or he has it for a little while. And like you said, Erling Haaland goes and takes it straight off him. Probably.
Yeah, before we came on air, that's what we were saying, that Erling Haaland probably will break that record anyway at some point if he stays around.
And he's going to have to get like double, and he can get double digits as we've seen in the Premier League, but he's going to have to come now and start doing it, now to break that record. But I think it's something we expect, we want him to come home. I'm like, come home, Harry. Do you know what I mean? But this guy's, scored 36 goals in 31 games in the Bundesliga. And I think sometimes, when players go abroad, we're seeing it happen more often. I look at Jude Bellingham in Madrid. Everyone was talking about him going to Liverpool. It was like a done deal, and it wasn't a done deal, clearly. But like, I think sometimes you have to put some respect on these leagues' name, because I think sometimes we're often quite, what's the word? We look not down upon these leagues.
A bit dismissive,
our league's the best. Oh, I could score goals in that Farmers League. Farmers League. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's gone over there, like the same as Haaland came this way from Dortmund and never skipped a beat. So I think sometimes when, and I'm guilty of it as well. I remember when Harry Kane signed for Bayern Munich, I'm thinking, why is Harry Kane going to Bayern Munich? Well, actually, they're probably going to win the Champions League. Unfortunately for him, in the first year, Xabi Alonso won the league with Leverkusen for the first time in like 10 years. But like, he's happy there. Like Ash said, like, why would he want to come back? I think we want him to, because we miss him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I miss seeing Harry
Everyone
Kane.
apart from Alan Shearer wants him back.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
Personal records matter to certain individuals. Maybe that's for Alan Shearer as well. But as we say, if Erling Haaland sticks around, you can only assume that he'll break that record in due course. One player who's found it tough since their move to London is Liam Delap. And the news this week is that he no longer will wear the number 9 shirt at the club. That now has gone to João Pedro. He's one of several players as well who is now training separately away from the main squad. He joined from Ipswich last summer for around £30 million, only scored 1 Premier League goal in 28 appearances, 16 of which came as a substitute. I mean, it's so hard, isn't it, when you're a player of such a young age? When a club like a Chelsea comes along, it's difficult to turn that down. Now, obviously, in retrospect, he might look back and think that might have been the wrong choice. Bear in mind, it now feels as though his future perhaps is best to be somewhere else. Do you think he made the wrong decision, though? Now,
I like.
Can you understand why he did it?
I can understand why he did it, because I think most people would have. I mean, he's still only 23 years old, and I liked him when he was a youngster at Manchester City. And when there was talk about him coming, I was like, I'll take him at Man United. Do you know what I mean? Because I still think there's a player in there. I genuinely think that number 9 role at Chelsea, apart from João Pedro when he got there last year, was very good, but I missed out on the World Cup, which I still can't get my head around. But like, I think it's like a cursed position. It's almost like anyone that goes in that role never seems to flourish. Taking away your squad number it's happened to me when I signed for Juventus, right? And I was supposed to be the first ever number 10 for the women's team. They gave it to somebody else. They called me and they said, the Italy captain wants to have this number 10. We'll give you number 5. And in Italy, I didn't know the number 5 was the playmaker at that time, because that's what they do. I'm thinking, not that there's anything wrong with number 5, but I'm like, I'm not a defender. No one needs to see me there. But I felt like it was like an inferior complex. Like when people saw me if they see with the number 10, they think, you're a baller.
Yeah.
Now the fact that Liam Delap has had that taken away from him, I don't like that. I know it's football and it's like, they get paid all this money, but don't underestimate psychologically how that would make him feel. His confidence is probably on the ground as it is with how he's felt since he's got there. Some players, just sometimes the shirt's too heavy, but I still think there's a top quality player in there. I don't know what you think, Ash, but I think he's a good player. If we're looking at Strand Larsen going to Palace for 50 mil, then for me, Liam Delap still could go for big money, but I think he's still got a lot to offer. But taking away that number, training with like they did with Sterling last year, like I don't like all that.
But that's the way Chelsea.
It's not good though, is it?
To operate. Well, this is why they've got problems.
Yeah.
I think this is why they have problems, because they're a little bit disrespectful to the players that they actually have in there. Like Liam Delap's not done anything wrong, but I agree with you. I do think he's a good player. He's only young, but what I think he needs to do. In hindsight, probably the wrong choice of club, but we don't know that at the time. We would have all done the same thing.
Yeah.
But now I think maybe get your move to somewhere that wants you, because clearly they don't, and he'll be feeling that as well. So go and get the love somewhere else. Get playing consistently and scoring goals, whether that's an Everton, a Nottingham Forest, a Leeds United, somewhere like that in that region where they're going to love you. They play your style of football that suits you. Go and get goals, and there's definitely a good player. Then he might bounce back. Then he might bounce back to a Manchester United or somebody else. But at the minute, he needs to get on the grass week in, week out and scoring goals. And where a team, if it was an Everton, they're going to play to his style. It all goes to him. He doesn't even really have any competition for that number 9 spot. So get yourself out of there. Maybe you got to take a hit on your ego or your confidence a little bit and just move down a club and get yourself back on the grass.
It's one thing having your shirt number stripped from you, but then to be told you've got to now train away from the main squad as well. Now, they are quick to say this is not the bomb squad of last season. I know, actually, when we said that off air, you were like, it's very much a bomb squad. Just say who's in this squad, if you like. Nicholas Jackson, Mikhailo Mudryk, Tosin and Axel Disasi are in there, but also the new signings of Danny Welbeck and Jordan Henderson, which perhaps is why they're suggesting it's not a bomb squad. We'll come to that in just a moment. Let's find out the halftime score at Ibrox for Paul Mitchell.
And it's Rangers 0, Jablonec of Czechia 0. It's not been the best of games. It started reasonably brightly for Rangers. JD Gazama has got 5 goals in Europe. Last term was a little bit bright, picked himself up on the left-hand side, but his shot for the edge of the box gathered by the goalkeeper. Emmanuel Fernandez of Rangers picked up an early yellow card. Vanja Dragicevic had an effort. So too did Ryan Naderi. It took a little deflection and was on to the post. That's as close as Rangers have come. Jablonec have not really caused any problems at the other end. Ivan Pandu and the Rangers goals in a fairly easy evening. He's not had a single save to make so far, just mopped up a couple of things. Rangers need to be better in the second half. They definitely need to be better, and fairly certainly will be. Half-time in Ibrox, Rangers 0, Jablonec 0.
Paul, thank you very much. After the break, we'll run you through the other scores as well in the Conference League playoffs, and also look at the latest transfer news and continue the discussion on this so-called bomb squad that isn't a bomb squad at Chelsea.
You finished 9th. Yep. You come on talkSPORT and said that Chelsea are going to win the league. Yep. Who's the idiot?
We've got a manager that knows how to win a league.
No. Who's the idiot?
Won the Bundesliga.
I don't care. Who's the idiot?
What's the Spursy one? What's the Spursy ever won?
They finished 10th. Sorry.
10th.
Correction.
I know.
You finished 10th.
You'll take our place.
No, you finished 10th.
You'll take our place.
All right? And you come on talkSPORT and said that you're going to win the league.
You'll take our...
I don't think I'm an idiot in saying that Spurs can finish in the top 4 if we sign for Savinho and Marmoush.
You'll take our place.
So,
Roberto De Spursy.
There's only one mug here, and it's you.
Roberto De Spursy, he'll take 10th, mate. That's a good season for you lot. Mate, you'll take that. Jay.
Don't
100%.
Don't Jay me. Don't Jay me. Right? Don't Jay me.
Jay, 100% you take 10th. I'll give you 10th now. With 10 games to go 10th. So you've not got to sweat like you did last season. Sweating over the last couple of games. Are we going to go down? Oh, no. We go, oh, no, we'll go down.
Mate, you finished 10th.
Yeah, I know we did.
You literally finished 10th.
But we've got a manager that knows how to win.
That's almost like you spent £1 billion on a football team.
Yeah,
and finished 10th.
Another billion.
Right, who's more embarrassing?
And we're going to win it.
Who's more embarrassing?
Do you know what we should do? We should go for Savinho and Marmoush. Then we'll definitely win it. Could put that in the Todd.
Keep.
Would you, mate? Don't start getting.
No.
Don't.
I really want to swear at you, but I'm not going to. Right?
Don't, Jay. Take. I'll give you. Okay, here we go. 10th. Yes or no? Yes or no? Jay. Yes or no? Take 10th. He's going to take 10th. He's walking there. You got to take 10th.
A very good evening to you. It's been a busy old show so far here on Kickoff. You're in the company of Lianne, Sanderson, Ashley Williams and me, Natalie, Sawyer. Just to quickly run you through the scores in the Conference League playoffs that are taking place this evening. Earlier on, Brighton picked up. They got a goalless draw in Norway against Tromsø in the first leg, so they'll take that goalless draw to the Amex next week. Elsewhere, Hibernian are in action. They're into the second half. They're in Belgium, taking on Ghent. Goalless it is in that one. It's 1-1 between Motherwell and Freiburg. Hearts are a goal down at half-time to SK Rapid, that at home. And we were hearing, of course, that Rangers against Jablonec is goalless as well. It's also goalless in the League One encounter between Sheffield Wednesday and Bradford. So that runs you through the latest scores so far. But let's talk transfer news, shall we? And perhaps get a little bit more information on the bomb squad as well. That isn't a bomb squad, we should say, at Chelsea. Delighted to say talkSPORT senior football correspondent Ben Jacobs is with us. How are you, Ben?
Good evening. Busiest time of the year.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's going to ramp up, isn't it, as well, you imagine, with the final few weeks to go of this transfer window. Can you clarify, first of all, the bomb squad scenario, or what more can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I think Chelsea don't really consider it as a bomb squad. Bomb squad's also traditionally maybe a little bit earlier in pre-season. Now Xabi Alonso needs to trim down the squad, but it's more about Chelsea being flexible. Some of the deals that they want, maybe that have a permanence to them, they might have to do different kinds of structures. Alternatively, you can get urgency towards the end of the window and end up getting the money you're looking for. So it's more about players that are not part of the project have been informed and they're looking for options, and Liam Delap, for example, is one of them. But then if you think about Enzo Fernandez, Pedro Neto, they are sellable at the right number, but they both played against Real Sociedad, and it's business as usual until Chelsea's valuation is hit. So it's not a clear-cut bomb squad, but there's definitely several Chelsea outgoings that need to happen between now and the end of the window. Some of them permanently, some of them players maybe Chelsea would like to keep but would be prepared to sell, like Enzo Fernandez, and others, remember, loans, with maybe Mykhailo Mudryk the most interested of those profiles, because where he goes will be fascinating to many to see how match sharp he is.
Good evening, Ben. Lovely to see you as always. Just a quick one, just to finish off about this whole bomb squad situation. We were just talking about the fact that the effect this can have on the rest of the players, because, you know, you might not know the answer to this, but do we know if they're like eating separately? Because obviously for myself and Ashley, like when we've been on teams, it's seen as a punishment to be that player that's part of that squad. And it's modern day football. We know, you know, they'll be looking for a move and players out the way, but this can't be a good effect on the rest of the players that are there.
Well, I think the players that are there and form part of the first team plans will be trading as normal. And then it is possible, as you say, that those that are surplus to requirements could be given individual schedules or different times. But that's quite normal with so little left in the window. And ultimately, if you're not travelling in the squad for Fulham, then in the course of the next few days, you've got to get everything in order. And I know what you mean when you paint it as bomb squad, and when you speak about different routines, it can feel like you're completely excluded. And historically at Chelsea, that was the case. Trevor Chalobah turned up for pre-season, did well, was popular, was a Cobham boy. And this obviously was not this summer, but previously. And suddenly when they went off to America, he was told, you're not part of it. Raheem Sterling was put in a bomb squad and told to train at night. That's not quite the case now with Chelsea, but they'll want to protect the players they think are going to be on a move and give them full focus and time to find those moves, and that will include both the permanent exits and the loans. But it's not every player, and I don't think that it's as clear-cut a kind of bomb squad as in previous Chelsea windows. And like I say, with Pedro Neto and Enzo Fernandez in particular, if offers don't come in, the expectation is that they'll play against Fulham on Monday night when Chelsea open their Premier League campaign.
Let's move on then to transfer rumours and stories that are doing the rounds right now. And we know that Arsenal looking to strengthen their back line. Ezri Konsa, it seems, is nearing a move to the Gunners. How close are we to this being a done deal, Ben?
Yeah, this was formalised today. It's in excess of £50 million. And from the perspective of Villa, they'll just be glad that they've got their overall valuation, because it's 51 million fixed plus add-ons. And Villa always wanted in around 60 million, and for it to be more than the fees of Max Lacroix and Jan-Paul van Hecke. And they were both 52 million. So with the add-ons, this has the potential to go higher. Ezri Konsa is of appeal to Arsenal because he can play centre-back or right-back. Arsenal get their top defensive target, and now, from Villa's point of view, really interesting. They've looked at Tosin at Chelsea, who's had interest from Benfica. They've bid for Taylor Harwood-Bellis at Southampton, £80 million, plus I understand $2 million in add-ons, and yet Saints feel that offer is derisory and will be looking for £30 million or more, and Benfica have also targeted that particular player as well. So Villa are now going to have to spend a lot of money in a summer of flux. They've lost so many of their key players, but they have made a number of signings as well. And at the end of this window, we have to understand whether Ollie Watkins is also going to go to Al Hilal. The player would be keen. Villa would like him to sign a new deal. And of course, with Zion Suzuki arriving, is Emi Martinez going to get stuck at Villa as a number 2, or might he be another late exit? And if I'd have said to you at the beginning of the window that Digne would go, that Konsa would go, that Tielemans would go, that Martinez might go, and that Watkins might go with Villa with Champions League football, I think you'd have looked at me like I was mad.
Yeah, Ben, I wanted to ask you about Spurs. I mean, I've been doing bits this window with Fernandes and Tonali. There's been talk about Marmoush going there, Savino as well. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think this double deal stands a really good chance of happening, and certainly the Savinho part. And when you do a double deal, you can kind of start renegotiating and trying to get a kind of 2-for-1 type price, which may be preferable because from Manchester City's perspective, they are looking to add as well, and to do their midfield revamp, for example, they will need to bring people in too. So the money is going to be important, and City will add at least one more attacker if both Omar Marmoush and Savinho go. So my understanding is long before the Marmoush factor in this particular deal, there was something financially speaking close to an agreement for Savinho, but it needed Enzo Maresca sign-off and board approval, and of course also Manchester City to find a replacement as well. So Tottenham have never really been worried about the finances specifically relating to Savinho. And now, before just doing that deal as a singular transfer, they're working out whether they can barter in Omar Marmoush. And some Man City sources have told me that they would be looking for a massive joint fee of about £150 million. So let's see whether it's 2 or 1, but there's big confidence specifically on Savinho, and talks for Omar Marmoush continue. And then Manchester City are looking at Alan Elias from Palmeiras, who would be the Savinho replacement. And Palmeiras' perspective is that they'd rather not sell now. They want to leave it until the winter, but they are expecting a formal bid from Manchester City. And then, of course, is it going to be Enzo Fernandez? City sources say they're not too worried that Chelsea's deadline has passed. You've got Ayub Buadi, a story on talkSPORT I broke last week. Adam Wharton, but Crystal Palace don't want to sell. And there'll no doubt be other names on the list too of potential midfielders. Alexis McAllister they inquired about, but it doesn't appear that Liverpool are going to sanction that exit. And Manu Kone at Roma as well. So there's plenty of options for Manchester City. And I think that they're going to be busy and have a big, big spend, and possibly some big incomings as well in this crazy end to the window.
You're not just going to rest, are you? You won't be able to rest. You've got no time to do that, Ben. Just quickly round up some of the other stories. Obviously, there's the Carlos Baleba. There's also Curtis Jones. What else can you tell us?
Yeah, I think I'll have lost my voice, to be honest, by the end of the window. It's already going a little bit. Curtis Jones, done deal. The medical will be on Friday, but he's arrived today. Same fee and structure, really, as Jed Spence. Also to Inter, €30 million, €5 million in add-ons, 10% sell-on for Liverpool there. Carlos Baleba, obviously Brighton have played this evening, so that may slow things down because a lot of the Brighton executives are out in Norway. But Manchester United are confident. They're not far off the valuation, £60 million, £5 million in add-ons. It was turned down, but it wasn't rejected out of hand. So Manchester United feel that that's very much a point of negotiation to get that over the line. Baleba wants the deal. And then we need to keep an eye on Yakuba Minter, one option for Liverpool that we reported on talkSPORT in June. And in the last few days, there's been a bid for £50 million, even though the player's injured and out for several weeks. it was turned away. But again, Liverpool could be back there, and the expectation for Liverpool is that they're going to add 2 attackers. The dream choice, and one they're working on and have some optimism on, is Bradley Barcola at PSG. Ibrahim Mbaye has been looked at too, but at the moment the price there is too high. And Mint has always been another option who provides pace, and the player would be open to the move. So if that one comes off, despite the fact that he's injured, it would be a fantastic bit of business. And Spurs fans need to be hoping that Liverpool bring in 2, because if they do so, it might open the door for Tottenham to also get Cody Gakpo.
Rest that voice of yours, Ben. Thank you very much for being with us this evening to run us through all the very latest when it comes to this transfer window. We didn't ask you, Carlos Baleba. Good one?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I still think I would have expected Man United to have strengthened a little bit more, like we were talking about in the back line, defensively. But I'm happy with Tielemans and Andre Santos. So hopefully we can get Baleba in the door.
There you go. And then I'm sure they'll be looking at the back line as an option to strengthen when they've got European competitions as well to look forward to. One club who missed out on Europe last season, and they were at one point on the cusp of maybe securing one of those positions, is one of your former clubs, Ashley. We're going to talk about Everton next and see how they're faring ahead of this new season.
So this summer has gone from bad to worse for Villa. Unai Emery, Morgan Rogers and Yuri Tielemans already gone, of course. And now it looks like Konza, that's the big one, is on his way to the Arsenal. Let's bring in another Gabby, who must be delighted. Gabby the Gunner, who has called us in 03717 22 3344. Gabby, a very good morning.
Dry your eyes, Gab. I know it's hard to take, but Constance made his mind up. There's plenty more fish in the sea. Dry your eyes, Gab. I know you want to make Constance see how much his pain hurts, but you've got to walk away now. It's over. Sorry, Gab. And Alan, welcome back, sir.
Thanks,
I'm
mate.
so pleased you've got a fit bill of health.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you.
No, I'm good, Gabby. Thank you very much, mate. I was missing this, so I'm back.
Missing you.
He's not missed you,
was
mate.
Missing you, Alan.
He ain't missed you, Gabby.
Oh, he always misses me. It's you he doesn't miss, Gab.
What,
Come on,
can I
bro.
ask you a question,
Gab in
though?
Essex.
You
Go
know,
on, mate.
spending what you spent again this summer, is the minimum Champions League and Premier League for Arsenal?
Oh, Gab, listen, you've got always got. He'd make a
I'm
great
asking
politician, wouldn't he, Alan? He really would make
I'm
a
asking
great
you.
politician.
Are you closer to winning the Champions League with these signings?
I still think we're short of one exceptional striker. I think Osimhen, Alvarez, that's kind of the missing link. It could be enough with Solis and with the guys we've got.
Good evening. Welcome to Kickoff. We're going to take you straight to a goal at Ibrox. Paul Mitchell.
And it's Rangers 1, Yamlets 0. The best move of the match so far results in a goal. Gassama on the left-hand side pulled the ball back to Dan Neil. He dropped in it at the back post. Yokota headed it back into the middle, and Nadiri, well, the only thing he had to decide was which foot he was going to take the chance with. Eventually stretched out his left foot and knocked it into the net. Absolutely tremendous football from Rangers. Much needed. It's brought Ibrox to life. Rangers 1, Yamlets 0.
Paul, thank you very much. There's been no further change to the scorelines in the other games that are taking place. I say that. I think Freiburg may have just scored a second at Motherwell, which would give them a 2-1 lead in this first leg of the Conference League playoffs. It's also half-time at Hillsborough, where it is goalless between Sheffield Wednesday and Bradford. Moving back into the Premier League, let's talk about one of Ashley Williams' former clubs, Everton. And there's they've not exactly been very busy, have they, in this summer window? There's talk of potential more players to come at Everton, but there's still work to be done. I know a right back is one of their areas that they're keen to strengthen. But they have brought in Tyreek George, Hayden Hackney. Merlin Roll was made a permanent deal after his loan spell last season. That's the same for Tyreek George. And Christian Norgard comes in as well from Arsenal, bringing experience to that midfield. But there is a little bit of a concern about the direction of Everton. David Moyes himself hasn't been that outspoken over the summer, but when he was asked earlier this week about the potential, perhaps, of his side, he poured cold water on where his side are currently heading into the new season. He said, "We're far off where we want to be." He added that he would like to do a lot more business in this window, and how Europe became an objective but wasn't a target at the start of last season. Now, as I mentioned, they were going into the last couple of months of last season in a good position to finish in one of those European places. But they ended up finishing 13th, not winning any of their final 7 games. So there was a disappointment to how that season ended for Everton. Are you in any way a little bit concerned about what they've been doing over this summer period and by what David Moyes has sort of been saying as well?
I'm not concerned. I just think it's a little bit boring, isn't it? If you're an Everton fan, it's so boring at the minute. There's not everyone else around you's talking about incomings, outgoings, what you're trying to do. What are Everton trying to do? I don't really get it. The best thing they could hope for is 13th again this season. They're not gonna improve on that with the squad they've got. They've brought in a couple of players. They're not going to get you any higher at all. I don't think. You still don't really have a striker. You've lost Seamus Coleman, which is, never mind the right back position. Just what you've lost in the dressing room is massive. It's so big. I don't really see where. I just don't get it. I don't know what. It's just a lack of ambition that I'm seeing from Everton at the minute. You've just moved into this massive, unreal stadium that you're trying to call home. David Moyes did an excellent job to steady that first season in the stadium, in a new stadium, which we've seen be difficult before. Yes, it's not the most expansive and attractive football to watch, but they didn't need that last season. They just needed to be a stable club. They didn't need to get into Europe, in my opinion, last season. They're not ready for that at all. But this season, you go, okay, so you're stable. You're in a new stadium. You did a good job. Now let's show a bit of ambition to do something. Get the fans a little bit excited for that first game of the season. Well, with all due respect, Norgard, Danny Roll, Hayden Hackney, they're not getting the fans excited at all. There's still no striker. You've got Beto and Barry. They're not going to take you any higher than 13th. Bring some people in the door. We just spoke earlier in the show about Liam Delap. Go and get him. Do everything you can do now to go and get him through the door, because he needs a team that want him. So throw everything at him. I don't understand why. I just don't really get what they're doing. It sounds a little bit like David Moyes doesn't really get the direction either. He's probably asking them. I'm guessing he's give them targets. Surely these are the players I want, or this is the type of profile of player I want. They haven't delivered on anything. There's nothing to talk about. The fans have got nothing to talk about. It's just boring for them at the minute.
I mean, we've had so many positive fans reaching out to the show this evening. We haven't heard from any Evertonians. We haven't put the question out to them. But you imagine, by what you're hearing from a manager, a little bit what Enzo Maresca was saying when he was at Chelsea, and we're not going to win the title, and you wonder what kind of ideas that puts in players' heads and fans' heads too. But if a manager is saying we're far off from where we want to be, he also mentioned about Hayden Hackney not needing time to get up to speed in the Premier League. I mean, I understand that to a degree, but does a player need to hear that?
No, not publicly, I don't think. And I think Everton will struggle this year. Genuinely, I think they'll be
Was you
down.
going to say go down?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not go down, but they'll be down amongst it. I think they will be. I look at their team, I look at their squad. You know, Barry scored 8 goals last year and Dice scored 6. That's nowhere near good enough. You know, they need someone that can put the ball in the back of the net, but my concern is in the midfield. And I do agree, like, with what Ash said, like, new stadium, it's fantastic. The Evertonians are so passionate. I mean, you played there, you know this. Like, but I just think, like, you're right. It's like blah, isn't it? And I think when you don't strengthen, and maybe that's David Moyes' frustration. And I like David Moyes. I liked him when he was at West Ham. And I know West Ham fans used to call in the show and hammer me, no pun intended, because they used to say, Lianne, what do you mean? His style of football's not good. But look where West Ham are now. So sometimes you have to be careful what you wish for. Yes, his style might not be great. But when you look at that squad, like, it doesn't excite me at all. They haven't strengthened. Now, Ash mentioned about Seamus Coleman replacing someone like that leader within the team. Like, I think they're going to struggle.
I mean, Tarkowski's a good leader, I would say.
Not a great player, though. Not a great player, nah.
Not a fan of Tarkowski?
Not really.
No?
Not a great player, nah.
Well, what I would say about the Seamus Coleman thing, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right to talk about him, the leadership that they're going to lose, that experience. But also, you've known that for a while he's probably going to leave. So why has a right back not been a priority? Now, look, we don't know the business dealings. We don't know how many knockbacks they've had over the course of the period that they realise they need a right back. But to be going into a new season, you still haven't sorted it.
But we're hearing about Matty Cash or Munoz, and I don't even believe that. I don't even think they've gone in for them. I don't think they'd like them, but I don't see them. They're not active in the They're not active in the market at all. They're not making moves. We can't. Where are these? Where? Do you know? Like you're mentioning names, or we're mentioning names, but it doesn't seem like they're actually going out and trying to get these people. And what's disappointing, I think, if you're an Everton fan, you look at a club like Brentford, you look at a club like Bournemouth and the likes of, and it's doable. You can go and do something in this league now if you've got a good squad, a good manager, and you're all together as a club. You can actually go in the right way at this point in time. And for a club like Everton, massive club, as you said, fans love it. Like, so big stadium now, you think, okay, they're going to kick on. And they just haven't at all. And it's just so flat around Everton at the minute. I don't get it. It's there. There's players available. There's players. We were talking about bomb squads. Most teams have got players that are surplus to requirements that would fit Everton's style of play and David Moyes' style of play. I don't understand why we're not seeing any movement at all.
There was talk of Richarlison potentially going back there, wasn't there, a few weeks ago? I know it's not the type of player that's going to bang you in double digits, but like, he loves that club, doesn't he? Works, you know, his socks off. So I feel like that would maybe inspire the fans a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Bringing someone in the door that gets it. I mean, Dewsbury Hall, decent player. Hackney, decent player, but like, they're not going to get you off your seats. And I think they could come unstuck. It might not be this year, because we've seen Everton down there in previous years. Remember when Frank Lampard went back there and the amazing fans were coming out of all their smoke before the game, and that kind of like helped keep them in the league, because if you don't keep strengthening, this is what happens.
Just quickly, because we've got to go to a break, does Jack Grealish inspire you? Because Angus Kinnear, the CEO of Everton, has said that as much as he is very much a City player, we've still had discussions with him. We've been in communication with him throughout the summer. Even when he got injured last season whilst on loan at Everton, he decided to stay at Everton to do his rehab rather than go back to, obviously, his parent club, Manchester City. Does that inspire you if they can get Jack Grealish through the door?
Absolutely. I'd snap your hand off for Jack Grealish right now, because he's the type of, they need quality players like him. Enjoy, I do like, but he needs to up his actual productivity. But if they can get Jack Grealish back in as well as others, you'd absolutely take him.
Okay, we are going to take a break, and we'll be heading into the final hour of the show, where we will at some stage get your predictions, the dreaded pundit predictions. Nobody likes them, but it's going to happen. Plus, we'll look ahead to the fixtures that are coming your way in the Premier League this weekend, because it's back.
And 2 weeks today, the transfer window closes. Would you anticipate much more business in terms of incomings between now and then? Well, you can see the league, how unpredictable the league is, and the amount of things that can happen on a day. So it's better not to talk too much. Be prepared, be open, and hopefully we can wrap up the transfer window in a really positive way.
You were speaking before the Community Shield. You were asked about your long-term future and contract negotiations, and you said there's nothing to worry about, Arsenal fans. Do you see yourself as somebody who can do what the likes of Guardiola and Wenger and Ferguson did and stay at the club for many years and build a dynasty?
I want to do what I'm capable of doing and what is the best for the club. And I feel very, very happy and grateful to be sitting where I am with the people that I work with every single day. And my ambition is to continue this way.
Was it strange at Cardiff on Sunday that you weren't facing Pep Guardiola in the dugout, given that rivalry that's developed and obviously your relationship with him?
It was different. Obviously, I know Enzo really well, but obviously the relationship that I built with Pep when we worked with each other, and then the amount of headaches and sweats that he has provided to me over the last 6-7 years to try to catch up to the level and the standards that they set in the league has been an absolute inspiration. I think he's left a benchmark and a mark in this league that it will be history forever, and he made us, I think, all of us better.
Have you had many conversations with him since the end of the season, since you were crowned champions?
I had, and I have due to have an important as well in the next few days, and I'm looking forward to it.
Let's be honest, we've all found ourselves raging at a referee's decision at some stage. This feel familiar?
That is an absolutely shocking decision.
They've got a case in that it was a bad decision.
It's such a poor decision.
Yeah, I think he's just made a bad decision in that instance.
But what does it take to get to the very top of football refereeing? Every referee starts with their county FA. It's a simple training course and you can take it as soon as you hit your 14th birthday. Once you've done that, you have to go through at least 11 hours of face-to-face training. You'll then graduate as a Level 7 official, which means you can take charge of county-level games. But hold your horses, there's still a long way to go to get to the Premier League. Your next step is to spend a year each at Levels 6, 5 and 4. This covers the top of the amateur game. Only at Level 3 do you start doing Northern Counties or Isthmian League level games, for example. If you've done this all quickly, you can reach Level 2 and ref your first National League match after, I don't know, 6 years? After getting enough experience at that level, you can apply to be a referee in the EFL. There's an interview, people watching you do games, and then, if the EFL are happy, you'll be granted a Level 1 licence to ref in games in League 2 and above. Now, they don't just say on you go to the Premier League, you have to work your way up through the divisions. Only after years of hard work and refereeing on cold Tuesday nights in Stoke can you be considered to do matches in some of Europe's very best stadiums. Now, who was the youngest to reach the very top? It was actually Michael Oliver. He reffed his first Premier League match in 2010 at the tender age of just 25. So if you want to follow in his footsteps, crack on. It'll only take you roughly a decade, thousands of hours of work and an incredibly thick skin. In total, there are 37,000 registered referees across England, but the PGMOL has only deemed 21 good enough for the top flight. That means there's not even a 1 in 1,000 chance you'll even make it in. Obviously, referees can make mistakes, but when you think about it, having a go at them is kind of like slating a brain surgeon.
Good evening to you. This is Kick-Off, the final hour of the show this Thursday night on talkSPORT. I'm Natalie Sawyer, and I'm joined by the former Swansea defender Ashley Williams and the former Arsenal striker Lianne Sanderson. Lots for us to get through in this final hour, but let's quickly run you through what's happening in the live football. In the EFL, the only game taking place this evening, Bradford have taken the lead in their game at Sheffield Wednesday. Just a couple of minutes into the second half, Aidan Baldwin has given them a 1-0 lead. Elsewhere, Brighton secured a goalless draw at Norway's Tromsø to take into the second leg of their Conference League playoff. In the same competition, Hibs are drawing at Ghent in the final, well, they're less than 10 minutes to go in that game. That one's goalless. Freiburg lead Motherwell by 2-1. That in Scotland as well. And Motherwell are down to 10 men after Martin Moorman was sent off in the second half. Elsewhere, Hearts have turned their game around against SK Rapid. They now lead that one by 2-1. 2 goals within a 6-minute spell has turned that one around for them. And we were hearing that Rangers are ahead against Jablonec. 1-0 they lead in that game, and it's a Ryan Nadiri goal that is the difference between those two sides. More to come throughout, but let's continue our look ahead to the start of the Premier League season, and lots to look forward to. It all kicks off tomorrow night with Arsenal against Coventry then. That live here on talkSPORT, where you'll hear from Adrian Durham, Jim Proudfoot and Alan Pardew as well. Quick thoughts on that game. Is that going to be I know we can always say you never know what can happen in football, but does that look to you like a standard Arsenal win?
I think so.
Yeah.
Real simple, yeah. I just think it's too big of an occasion for Coventry. I think Arsenal are going to be excited. I don't think they'll take that for granted. I think they'll be excited to have their first home game after winning the league, and I just think it'll be business as usual. I think they'll just slide straight back in Arsenal.
It's either going to be really close until late on, or it'll be like an absolute annihilation from Arsenal. That's what I think. And, you know, like we said earlier, maybe this is a good time for Coventry to play them, or maybe it's the worst time because...
what I do think is that it doesn't say anything about Coventry tomorrow.
No.
It says everything about Arsenal, probably.
Yeah.
True.
As in, if Arsenal don't hammer them, are we going to be questioning Arsenal?
No, I don't think they need to hammer them, but just we'll see how they their approach to the season. Are they going for it again, or are they? Do you know, like, are they taking it for granted a little bit because we're all saying, and they probably might be thinking the same thing. We've got this again. I don't know. Are they going into it like that, or are they just going into it to just dismantle Coventry? Whatever they get tomorrow is a bonus, and if they lose, well, who thought they was going to win anyway?
I think Arsenal winning the league has massively kind of shut up a lot of people, including myself, with regards to can they get it over the line. I'll never shut up now. Don't worry about that. But do you know what I mean, though? Like, getting it over the line, I think that can no longer be that team that chokes.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? That imagine that. So the confidence that they're showing, like they did a Community Shield, people can say, oh, it's a Community Shield. I don't care. It's a trophy. And they performed unbelievably well. And Declan Rice didn't even start the game and came on. Do you know what I mean? So the goals were incredible. They looked so much better than City. So I just think Arsenal now, they just look like mentality beasts. They really do. The fact they got it over the line, don't underestimate what that can do for them going forward.
So what do you think that score's going to be? Arsenal-Coventry. Go on, give me that.
4-0 Arsenal. Sorry, Coventry fans.
4-0. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, 3-0 Arsenal.
3-0. All right, then. Moving on to the 12:30 Saturday lunchtime kickoff, our game day exclusive, of course, where Reshman Chowdhury, Sam Matterface, and, of course, the former Hull manager and Manchester United defender Steve Bruce, you'll be in the company of for this one at 12:30, as I mentioned. Your club then going to Hull, who are back in the Premier League after 9 years away. I think the Hull story is absolutely fascinating. When you consider the season before, they were in a relegation fight. They only stayed up on goal difference. Fast forward to what they achieved last season, winning the playoff final like they did. And let's not forget, they were doing that under a transfer embargo as well. So any new player that they signed obviously was on a freebie. And to be able to achieve what they did is just simply brilliant. I know Dean Holden, the assistant manager, has been speaking about proving the doubters wrong again. And that's what they're going to use as their sort of mentality to go into this new season. What chance do you have them to pick up a home win at least to start the campaign?
No, I'm not saying a home win, but I think it'll be tight. I mean, it's my team now. I'm not going to sit here and say, but I actually think it'll be like closer than you think. I'm thinking like maybe a 2-1. I don't think it's going to be like an annihilation. Yeah. The fact they're back in the Prem, I think The fans will be on their side. Questions will be about how Manchester United did have that ruthless edge that they had kind of last year when Man United did beat, Arsenal and City. So I don't think it's going to be an annihilation. I really don't. Some people might think that's the case. If it was at Old Trafford, I might feel a little bit different, but I'm going to give some respect to Hull. I think what they've done, like you say, is amazing. I remember before Jimmy Bullard there, Phil Brown, they've got some incredible stories over the years. And I don't think we thought we'd ever say that they were in the Premier League at this point, So I think they're way ahead of where people expected them to be, and good luck to them. But I don't think they're going to beat United. No, could eat my words by this time Monday. But
no, I agree. It's a Manchester United win. I think, as I said all show, I think Manchester United are going to have a good season. I think Hull will struggle. Sorry, Dino's my mate. Sorry, mate, but it's going to be a struggle. And listen, for Hull, and this sounds like really negative, but just you got to take it and enjoy the season that you're back in the Premier League. I mean, I was at the playoff final and they weren't great to get there anyway, but they got it over the line. I can't see where they're going to hurt many teams, never mind Manchester United this season.
I mean, they've already brought in 11 new signings this summer. They have said that they still want more, and they actually want more players with Premier League experience. They've already, in terms of the Premier League experience that they have, they've got Matt Targett. They've brought in Jack Butland as well. But is that key, do you think, for survival? You have to have a Premier League, like a core group of Premier League experienced players.
I think if you look at Sunderland last season, they brought in a lot of players. Not all of them had Premier League experience, but they did have Granit Xhaka. So if they didn't have Granit Xhaka, I don't think they would have had the season they had. Hull, if they could get someone like that, then they'd have a better chance. But just at the minute, they just have nowhere near enough quality, I don't think, to survive this devastating league.
Looking at the other games coming up on Saturday, the 3 o'clock kickoffs then. Forest against Leeds, Ipswich, Sunderland, and you've got Everton against Crystal Palace, which sees the nice sort of Brennan Johnson taking on his former club Palace, with Dwight McNeil then taking on his former club Everton in that game at Hill Dickinson Stadium as well. Of those 3 ties that I've mentioned there, Forest, Leeds, Ipswich, Sunderland, Everton, Crystal Palace, which one do you think, that reads interest?
I think all 3 of these games, genuinely, like when you look at it, like Forest and Leeds were way down there last season in 14th and then 16th, and they were in and around the relegation, weren't they, Forest, till late on. So, and then looking at, obviously, we've been talking about Everton and Palace as well. I mean, Crystal Palace, the fact that, I know this is another conversation in itself, but the fact that Ollie Glasner's gone to Nottingham Forest, I cannot get my head around that. I don't know why he was so outspoken about wanting to leave Crystal Palace. I understand he was saying Steve Parish wasn't investing in the club, but to me, I wouldn't go anywhere near Forest if I'm a manager. 5 managers in the space of a season. Marinakis doesn't hang around. Good luck to them. I loved going to Forest last year with you, Nat. I'll miss going there.
Yeah.
But I mean, but Nottingham Forest against Leeds intrigues me based upon the fact that I feel like they're going to be quite similar down there this year.
It is interesting, the whole Oliver Glasner thing. And look, I'm sure from a Forest perspective, it's quite a coup to get someone who has won trophies and a number of trophies as well, not just at Crystal Palace, did at Eintracht Frankfurt as well. So in some ways, that could be the best bit of business for Nottingham Forest this season. But I think you're right. I think Glasner expected something more.
I think Glasner wanted Man United or Liverpool, genuinely, because otherwise, why would you leave Crystal Palace? The fans loved him. You won an FA Cup. You're winning
on the Conference League.
Yeah, and you're winning things. And Crystal Palace are my local team. Not that I support them, but I always want them to do well. And I just cannot get my head around it. I mean, he doesn't stay at clubs for long, does he? 2 years plus, but he did amazingly well at Palace, and I just feel like he was building something there to then go to Forest. I don't know, it's a strange one.
And you're also right to mention Marinakis, because we know that Glasner, especially in the last season at Palace, was quite outspoken about certain things he wasn't happy with. I can't imagine Marinakis will deal with that very well.
I don't know what manager would go into Nottingham Forest and survive and in that little ecosystem they got going there, because it just seems a difficult place to be a manager for obvious reasons. So I don't get that one either. What I would say is I think Glasner's a good manager, and I think they've got good players. Obviously, they've lost Elliot Anderson, which is massive, but I think that they will be all right this season. Leeds is a bit of an interesting one. How are they going to do? We don't know. I think Ipswich will struggle through the season, and I also think they'll struggle in that game as well, although it's a massive home game for them back in the Premier League. And then Crystal Palace, Everton, the 2 kind of underwhelming clubs at the minute, but I think Everton, kind of always do well against Crystal Palace, especially at home.
Okay. We'll come back to the final game that's taking place. Maybe we'll just overlook it. Who knows? But there's been a red card at Ibrox. Paul Mitchell.
This is a strange one. It's Rangers 1, Yamlinets 0. Cammy Devlin went down on the edge of the box, and it looked like, from our angle, that he was taken down. Play continued for about 60 to 90 seconds. The referee eventually stopped it, came across to the VAR monitor, had a look, walked back on the field, red-carded Cammy Devlin, and just wandered and awarded a free kick. Ibrox was absolutely stunned by this, but I think Cammy Devlin must have come across and caught the player in the tangle. The player didn't complain. Cammy Devlin didn't look like there was, too much in it, but he's lasted less than 7 minutes on the field. The Rangers sub Cammy Devlin has been sent off for the first time in his Rangers career. Rangers currently leading by 1-0, but they've just conceded a penalty kick. Pushed over in the box. Sedilak has gone down. Come back to me in a moment, I'll give you the result, but at the moment it's Rangers 1, Jablonec 0.
Okay, Paul, we'll do that. So in the meantime, let's round off the Saturday fixtures because it ends with the 5:30 London derby. It's Brentford against Tottenham. Look, Tottenham have done fantastic business, and they are clearly backing Roberto De Zerbi. They know that after successive 17th place finishes, that's well below par. They need to do better, and you can see by the business that they've done, they have absolutely just granted him basically what he's wanted in the hope that they can achieve a lot better this season. And there's a lot more still to come potentially at Tottenham as well. When you look at, first of all, the business that Tottenham have done, you both expect them to have a much better season, don't you?
Yeah, I think they've bought really well. Obviously, he's been able to spend. They've backed him. They got the man that they wanted. He kept them up. Tonali's a great player. I think Senesi's a great player. Van Heck. They've brought loads of great players in to add to what was already a talented squad, but yet wasn't delivering for whatever reason.
Yeah,
I think they'll be back in the top 6 this season. I think we'll see Spurs back where we're used to seeing them for years gone by. I think they've got a good manager and they've got a good squad. But that's a game that is interesting. I'll be watching because you just want to see what this new Spurs is all about. Are they gonna just do what we've seen recently and just keep failing, or you don't think so with De Zerbi? I think you get a tune out of them players.
I mean, I think almost like last year it was unfathomable. I said if Tottenham were to get relegated, that would have been the biggest shock of my life, more than Leicester probably winning the Premier League. I couldn't even imagine it. And like the fact they finished in 17th, 2 points above relegation, I think we can't get any worse than that. But maybe this is like, the kick that they needed to come, you know what I mean? Like invest, because if they were to get relegated in that unbelievable stadium, their training ground, like we talk a lot about these training grounds and stadiums and all that, which is a factor, but fundamentally it's getting results. And there was a period of time I was thinking, now Spurs can't go down. And I'm watching their games and I'm thinking, they absolutely could. They could, but De Zerbi, I think, is a top manager, as we saw when he was at Brighton and at Marseille. And I do think, with the signings that they've made, they can't do any worse. But I think it's interesting that a lot of people are backing them to get in the top 6. I'm like 17th to 6th. That's a big... They've not signed Messi and Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? But that's a big drop. That's a big jump.
It is a big jump. But like you say, maybe there's elements of toxicity that was at the club that might not be there now come the start of the new season. I'm not saying any particular individuals, but you can make of that what you will. And also they were completely underachieving. Of course they were. We all know that. Even with the players they had last season, they were completely underachieving. You'd like to think that with Roberto De Zerbi, they will do a lot better. But as you say, I agree. It's quite a jump, but I still think they'll do a lot better. I think they'll be certainly top 6.
Not mentioning, but toxicity of Romero, right? Because that's who we're talking about. I couldn't think of a better place for him to go to.
You're quite right.
What a great compatibility of a football club with him, Simeone and him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right?
Yeah.
What a great fit. We often think about, will that player succeed there? I know that would probably be up for the Ballon d'Or. Go in there.
Could you imagine?
Seriously.
Well, you never
Talk
know.
about dark arts and everything. No, I'm being serious, because he's not a bad footballer.
No.
Christian Romero is not a bad footballer.
He's a good footballer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he misses too many games due to petulance.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But couldn't think of a better fit.
He certainly wasn't a captain, let's put it that way. But just quickly, obviously, we're talking a lot about Tottenham. Brentford, the team that they're facing. My team, I'll be there.
Go on then, Nat. Mike's yours.
Don't know what to say.
Come on.
Do you know what? Every day it changes. One minute I'm like, I'm so excited. I think we're going to do really well. And then the next I'm like, I haven't a clue how we're going to fare. Just because I think there's so many unknowns this season. So many. And I'm talking about every single team.
Can I just say, though, last year, right, Brentford were the team that, because of Keith Andrews, they were like, they're going to go down. Your team are fine. For me, they will always be fine, right?
But I
They're
think
a well-run
there is,
football club.
I'll be honest, there is an expectation, and there'll be a lot of people probably shouting at me right now when I say this, because they'll be like, know your place. But because of being so close, we missed out on Europe by goal difference. So there'll be a lot of fans who will expect us to give another push to get into Europe next season. I'm not saying we're a club that's ready for Europe, but the idea of, we were in the Champions League sort of fifth pursuit for quite a while, and then we just couldn't get the consistent result.
Good season though.
No, of course, absolutely, because the factors you just mentioned, Keith Andrews coming in for his first season in charge, the fact that we lost obviously Thomas Frank previously, Brian Mbermo, Johan Wissa, Christian Norgard, Mark Flecken, mainstays of that
every
Brentford
year.
team.
Ivan Toney, you lose your best goal scorer. And that's why I love your football club, right? Although I'm not a Brentford fan, Brighton and Brentford, those types of clubs, and it's no coincidence Brighton were in 8th and you were in 9th, right? Because they're well run. They lose players. Look how many players.
Bournemouth as well.
Yeah, they lose players. Why do you think that is, though? I mean, I'm looking at it thinking.
But I also think that they have like a culture and an attitude. Those three clubs that we just mentioned, where they don't moan. They just get on with it. Players go and they just go, okay, I will coach, because we forgot about that, by the way. You're paid to make players better, and I think that's what those managers do. They don't just buy in other players. They recruit really well, but they also make the players there better and fit the system. So they don't moan about losing players. They just get on with it, and it's refreshing.
What I will say is, talking about goal difference, part of the reason I think Brentford have signed Jadon Anthony and Callum Wilson as well is because they didn't necessarily have the goals off the bench, and that's why they've turned to those. Not to say that Anthony's not going to start, or Callum Wilson won't have a more pivotal role as well in terms of starting, but obviously we know Igor Thiago is probably going to be the starting number 9 for Brentford, but that is why they decided they needed those kind of players, because we were lacking in goals. So that's why there is an element of optimism, especially with now we've got Mamadou Sangare. He is a player to look out for in midfield for Brentford. He's a really exciting young player that we signed from Lens. So just look out for that as a name as well. Just quickly say, Freiburg are now 3-1 up at Motherwell in the Conference League playoff first leg. That one into added on time as well. SK Rapid have equalised at Hearts. That's now 2-2. And they are, into the last 10 minutes or so of that game. It finished goalless between Ghent and Hibernian, as it did between Tromsø and Brighton. There was a penalty that we thought was awarded in that Rangers Jablonec game at Ibrox. That has been overturned. So Rangers still a goal up in that game. But of course, Cameron Devlin has been sent off for the home side. So we'll continue to update you on those, and we'll continue to look ahead to the return of the Premier League. We'll look ahead to Sunday and Monday's fixtures next.
I put it on silent and plane mode the whole time I was on holiday.
Good lad. I did
time.
message you and you pied me.
Well,
I was like, it's fine.
Well, I didn't get it.
Fine.
I didn't get the message.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm back now, right?
Yeah.
And I got a little surprise for you.
Oh, you got me a present.
I've got you a little prize.
What you got me?
I've got you.
What you got me? Ah! He's got me a Jason Cundy Tottenham shirt.
There you go, mate. You wanted one.
Is this official your shirt?
That's the official, right?
This is a match-worn shirt.
It's a match, probably match on the bench.
That's amazing.
I've got a little Sharpie here, mate, and I'm going to sign it in the break.
I want you to sign it. We have to come up with something. What are we going to put on it?
Dear numbnuts.
And that's amazing. Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
It was in my mum and dad's house.
That's so good. That's
There you go.
fully fledged. This is proper Premier League.
Yeah.
That's
there you go,
thank you, mate.
That's
That's
all
going
right,
to go
see?
up on the wall. I didn't get you anything. So sorry. I didn't think we were exchanging presents.
Well, no, it's fine. You asked. You did say to me, if I find one, can I have it? And there you go, mate.
You found it. Well done.
Found it, mate.
That's so good.
There you go.
Fits as well. Fits.
Excellent.
I love the old shirts because they're all massive.
Yeah.
So I can get that on.
Do you want me to sign it? You're going to stick it on your wall? You're going to.
Yeah. Of course I want you.
When Spurs play, you might wear it, Jay.
No. What's number 26?
No, I got bumped out tonight. Jurgen Klinsmann took me 18.
Yeah, and that's Ledley King's number as well, isn't it? Like, literally, Cundy's the worst player to wear number 26 for Spurs.
This is Kickoff on talkSPORT, and you are in the company of Ashley Williams, Lianne, Sanderson and me, Natalie Sawyer, as we take you through until 10 o'clock, and the Sports Bar will be on the way. Lots to look forward to in the final half hour of the show, and we'll get to the dreaded predictions from Ashley and from Lianne in a moment as well. But quickly, just to let you know, Freiburg have beaten Motherwell in the first leg of their Conference League playoff. 3-1 was the final score, so they'll take that 3-1 advantage to Germany next week. Not looking particularly good then for Motherwell. More updates to come, but let's quickly run you through what's happening on Sunday when it comes to the Premier League. 3 games to bring you, and Game Day Live with Sam Matterface, Mickey Gray, Perry Groves will keep you in tune with these games. Newcastle taking on Liverpool. That is the 4:30 kickoff. Expect that one to be an emotional day, as both clubs will pay tribute to Kevin Keegan, who of course passed away sadly last month, aged 75. Before those tributes and that game, Manchester City take on Bournemouth, kicking off at 2 o'clock, and Brighton host Aston Villa as well in a 2 o'clock kickoff. Of those 3 games, give us your predictions. Newcastle, Liverpool.
Well, historically, we know there's always loads of goals, whether it be 4-3 in that game, from way back when. Do you know what? I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay.
As much as people think Newcastle...
Historically, loads of goals.
I built it up to bring it down again. But I don't think Newcastle are going to be as bad as people think this year. And I'll come on to that later on when we do our predictions. Because a lot of people are saying, we don't know what to expect. But I don't think they're going to be as bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go 1-1 in that game.
Teasing us with your Newcastle thoughts.
Stay tuned.
Ashley, are we having a goal fest, or is it going to be a 1-1 draw?
No, I think we got goals in it.
Go on.
I think we've got goals from Liverpool. So I'm going to go Liverpool win, and I think they'll win comfortably in this game. But we'll get to Newcastle we'll probably both get to Newcastle in a bit.
Interesting thoughts.
But I think in this game, new manager, I know it's away, but I think Liverpool are going to have a good season, and I think it'll be a Liverpool win comfortable.
Okay. Manchester City, Bournemouth?
Oof, what a game to start, for Bournemouth. I think City comfortably. I know we're thinking City are not going to be the City of old, but I still think they're a top side. As John alluded to earlier, the caller. It's making me think
He's convinced us all.
Win the league. I think City will win that one.
Okay.
I'm going to go 2-0.
Yeah, agreed. I don't, as we said, City don't challenge Arsenal, I don't think, but they win games at home against Bournemouth.
Okay. And Brighton, Villa?
I mean... Emery,
what Villa team will turn up? We don't know, in the sense that many have been linked moves away.
Brighton did not look convincing tonight, and then it's very difficult when you play on a Thursday and a Sunday. Maybe Villa can pick up points in this one.
Okay, and then Monday Night Football is another derby. It's a West London derby this time. It's Fulham against Chelsea. Now, earlier on, we were just chatting with our newsreader, Charlie Pritchard, next to us, I should say, and we were just sort of, how are Fulham going to get on? We're not sure. We weren't sure. Charlie was not having it. He's like, come on. He's really positive about Arbeloa being in charge. He's saying it's not right that people are dismissing them. He thinks they're going to have a good season. Do you agree?
You know what? He convinced me, because I always respect people that go to the games. They watch them week in, week out. But I don't think it's going to be easy. I mean, against Chelsea, first game, massive rivalry. At home, you asking me if I think they're going to win? No, I think Chelsea will win 2-0.
2-0 to Chelsea.
Yeah, I think 3-1, comfortable Chelsea win.
It's with these managers, though, I don't know if you guys feel the same, but Arbeloa, it's hard for me to. I mean, he didn't do great at Real Madrid, did he? But he was only there short term.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to. I think he's gone into management so quickly after the stop, and I know they do this now, but I think managing is an art. You know, like it's hard for me to. I feel like Arbeloa just retired from playing, and now he's managing like Real Madrid. Then he's at Fulham, and Fulham under Marco Silva did bits. Like when you consider. Fulham didn't really recruit heavily, did they? They haven't spent loads and loads of money.
Well, that was one of the criticism from Marco Silva.
But he did well with them, is what I'm saying. So, I don't know. I think Chelsea have to win this game convincingly, to be honest. I think for Xabi Alonso to get off to a flying start will be massive for him.
I mean, with regards to Arbeloa, obviously he's not burnt any bridges at Real Madrid, despite the spell not being particularly great, because he has been able to go back in and bring in the forward Gonzalo Garcia, and Cesar Palacios has also come in, the midfielder from Real Madrid. So he's worked with those players. And as I say, Real Madrid are quite happy to go, there, you can have them. Yeah, we don't mind doing business.
What are you saying, Jude Bellingham signing for Fulham?
Yeah, you heard it here first. Right, this is it. Let's get straight to it, shall we? The Premier League predictions. I know. Is there a round? No, there's no drum.
No. Ollie don't care.
Honestly, the production values on this show is poor. Anyway, right. I think we know the answer to this one. But I will ask it again. Premier League winner.
Arsenal.
Okay. Give me your top 5.
Do you want me to go first?
Run 'em.
Arsenal, City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea.
Okay.
Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, Man City, Chelsea.
I really should have written those down. How any difference? What was the difference? Anything?
I don't know. What did you have?
I know.
Arsenal, City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea.
It's just too quick. I can't write that.
Arsenal.
Yes.
Arsenal,
City.
Yep. United, Liverpool, Chelsea.
Okay. And then what was yours, Ashley?
Arsenal, Liverpool.
Yep.
United, City.
Okay.
Chelsea.
So we had the same.
Yeah,
but
just
different.
slightly different order, but they're the same 5 teams. Okay. So you're not giving a chance to Aston Villa.
No.
Okay.
If it was last season, I might.
Okay.
I like Emery, but I think they've sold too many.
Okay. What about the teams then? Forgetting these 5, let's assume we can go down to 8th, shall we, again, for the European places? Who are we thinking could bag those remaining 3 spots?
Spurs.
Yeah, I had them. Go on, Ash.
No, Spurs. Maybe your lot, Brentford.
Ashley, you can come again.
It's so tough. This is the worst part of doing this job.
I know.
Jeez.
I keep saying it. It's because we don't have a clue this season.
It's just
it's so open.
Who knows,
other than maybe Arsenal.
I'm going to go Sunderland.
Really? Okay. Sunderland.
I would have said Villa, but because I think Emery's just a genius.
So you think they're just going to miss out on Europe altogether, Aston Villa?
Yeah, I do. They've sold Rodgers, Konsa. Ollie Watkins sounds like.
But you just said he's a genius.
He is, but he's not a miracle worker.
Yeah, okay.
He is a genius. I think Emery's probably, if not the.
Are you
manager in
let
the
me
league,
ask you then, are you basing it on now, or are you basing on the potential that they could even lose Martinez and Watkins?
Yeah, now. And the potential.
Okay.
If I'm a Villa fan, I'm like thinking, what is going? I know there's PSR and all that, but they've sold way too many. Good deal for Morgan Rodgers, the money they got, fair play. But I think they've just sold too many.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what are they going to do between now and the end of the transfer window? I don't think they have enough in there at the minute to. The only way that they have a run at Europe is because we can't pick out anyone else. Does that make sense? There's no one else saying. There's no one else that you think, oh yeah, like maybe Bournemouth. They've got a new manager as well. What do they look like? It's all up in the air.
Yeah. We'll come back to these predictions, but let's take you straight to Ibrox for the full-time score then for Rangers' Conference League playoff first leg. Paul Mitchell.
Well, a strange old game this was, Natalie. Rangers 1, Jablonec 0. Jablonec unbeaten in 6 coming into this one. Must have thought they were going to do well. They were 1-0 down at the time when Rangers had a man sent off. You expected a grandstand finish from them. It never really came. It looks like they're settled for a 1-0 defeat. That goal for Rangers coming after 50 minutes. The best move of the match. Gassama with a lovely flick back onto Dan Neil, whose deep cross knocked back across by Yokota. And Ryan Nadiri with his first European goal for Rangers. Should have been 2 just a few minutes later. Gassama missing from 3 3 yards out, smack in the middle of the goal, and he knocked the ball over the top. There was the Cammy Devlin red card. Many Rangers fans thought they were about to get a penalty kick. They got a shock there. They also got a shock a few minutes later when the referee appeared to point to the spot for a very loose challenge, but in fact he was pointing for a free kick for Rangers. That sent a few shockwaves around Ibrox as well. But truth be told, Rangers have done enough to take a lead. They should be able to score over there, you would suspect, but certainly in this Conference League tie, nothing can be taken for granted. On the night though, Rangers have beaten at Jablonec of Czechia by 1-0.
Paul, thank you very much. Okay, so Rangers with that 1-0 lead. They're still playing in the game between Hearts and SK Rapid, where it's 2-2 in that game in Edinburgh. We'll bring the full-time score on that one as and when. And Bradford still hold that 1-0 lead over Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough. Aidan Baldwin's goal just after the restart, giving Bradford the lead in that game. Okay, more to come as we continue to predict what will happen in this season. There is the dreaded who's going to go down question, the top scorer, and maybe the surprise package of the season to come as well. They'll get the thoughts of Ashley Williams and Lianne Sanderson on that in just a few minutes.
The man to your left was in Seattle, Miami, Houston, LA. He was all over the place. He was. He is Danny Murphy. And he was magnificent, particularly when you consider that one comment during commentary and he went viral.
He used to have a cat called Bob. The game's not that bad. Yeah, he jumped in the back of a Royal Mail van and we lost him.
We have a double substitution for Norway.
Sad, really.
Alexander
Anyway.
replaced by number 22.
Now, you were talking about Bob the cat. Yeah. Tell us about Bob the cat, because by God, everybody went crazy when they heard that.
Well, firstly, it's nice to be appreciated, isn't it, for the good analysis and all the hard work I'd done on the teams, the formations, the players, the hours of effort you dedicate to your job. No, it was just one of those things that the game wasn't very good. We were chatting away. Oscar Bob came off the bench and it just came out, and then it went on and on.
Bob the cat. Why have you never shared this with me and Simon in the many hours that we share together?
Well, because I've got you two on a pedestal of being intellectual, sophisticated men. Well, at least one of you.
I was going to say.
So I didn't think that'd be a topic that you'd be interested in, but no, it was good fun.
Yeah.
Good fun. I think it's nice.
I don't like cats.
Do you not? No. That doesn't surprise me. Why don't you like cats?
I've never liked cats. I like dogs.
You don't like people.
A very good evening to you. Thank you very much for choosing to spend your time with us here on Kickoff this Thursday evening. And you are listening in to Lianne Sanderson, Ashley Williams and me, Natalie Sawyer. Just to quickly say that it has now finished between Hearts and SK Rapid. 2-2 was the final score in Edinburgh in the Conference League playoff first leg. So just quickly run you through the scores involving British teams in that one. Brighton ended up having a goalless draw in Norway, in Tromsø. So they'll take that into their second leg next week. It was also goalless between Ghent and Hibernian. Motherwell, well, they lost at home 3-1 to Freiburg. 2-2 it finished, as I say, between Hearts and SK Rapid. And Rangers 1-0 winners against the Czech side, Jablonec. It's still 1-0 that Bradford lead against Sheffield Wednesday, heading into the final 5 minutes of the 90 at Hillsborough. So we'll hopefully continue to update you on that one. But we are getting straight back onto our Premier League predictions, where you can all remember them and then come back at Ashley Williams and at Lianne Sanderson come the end of the season to say how wrong they got it, which is the beauty of it. Where did we get up to?
Relegation.
So, oh, you want to go to the relegated teams?
Isn't that where we were?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Go on, Ash.
Yeah, you be the doom mongerer.
I'm fine with it.
Go on then.
Ipswich,
Right.
Hull,
Yeah.
and Crystal Palace.
Wow.
We've got one different.
Okay.
Not,
Okay.
But listen, it could be one
Yeah.
of so many teams.
True.
Yeah, listen, we're putting you on the spot. You've got no choice.
I'm going Hull, Coventry, Ipswich. And I know last year it was the first time ever that 3 Up didn't come back down. But I agree with what Ash is saying. Like Palace, there's a lot of question marks over the others. Palace, Forest, Everton. I think there's question marks over those teams. But I just think the 3 that have come up, I like Gary O'Neill. Going in Ipswich, I really like him. Like when I've watched him do breaking down games, I'm like, this guy knows what he's doing. Strasbourg did okay, I guess. When he was at Bournemouth, I thought it was quite strange the way they let him go. Same at Wolves, but I just don't think they have enough quality within their squad, to stay up. Hull, Coventry, I think, maybe they could be the outsider, but yeah, those are the 3 I've gone for.
Well, you haven't gone for Coventry to go down, so why are you convinced by them to stay up?
Listen, I'm not overly convinced, but
No, I'm saying you are convinced.
Put him on the spot.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that just that they was so clear last season of everybody else in that league. They might have a bit of momentum. We've seen with Sunderland that if you can put together good runs early, you'll be okay. And I just think as it sits right now, maybe they've got a little bit more confidence than like a Crystal Palace that have just lost a lot of players, and there's not really anyone coming in that's going to give them any sort of confidence.
Wow. So you're going from Crystal Palace, who've won the FA Cup, who've won the Conference League, who've got Europa League football to look forward to this season, but they're going to be in a relegation fight.
I think so, yeah.
Not a bad shout.
No, I mean, I can only reiterate it so many times. I think this is one of the hardest seasons to predict anything to a degree. Maybe Arsenal winning the Premier League, but we've been convinced by callers, John and London, the Chelsea fan. They were very convincing with their arguments. Maybe not so with London about Arsenal and Man City not finishing in the top 4, but hey-ho. But I just think it's remarkable that we're going into a season of so many unknowns. Unknowns about managers. You've mentioned it before, actually. Unknowns about how teams are going to play. There are so many facters that
It's
make these
exciting though, isn't it?
Absolutely it is.
Even this opening weekend is all eyes on these teams.
Yeah, absolutely it is. I mean, there's even the thing I was reading about, obviously, that last season was the most competitive season ever in the Premier League when it came to the gap between 4th and 18th. Something like previously, the average for a 38-game season is 63 points, something like that. Last season, the gap dropped to 44 points. Sorry, that was in 24-25. Last season, 26 points. That shows you how competitive the league has been.
I will say, though, it's competitive, but I don't think it's great football. We spoke about that a lot on this show, like how football has changed and we just have to accept that. But when I'm watching these games, I'm not like, oh, my God. The Champions League game, PSG Bayern, was the best game we've all seen because no one defended. I know you're an ex-defender, but I love that. Most managers hate that. I can imagine. I can imagine. But it was so good to see, what happens, whether it's pressure or not, I don't know. But, I just think some of the games have become quite boring. They're not the same as they used to be. I know,
I understand where you're coming from. But just from a pure kind of giving everyone a chance.
Yeah, no, what you just
that
is
to me
is fair.
Is what it should be about.
It
be
is
attainable. And I know, look, we can go down the financial fair play of everything and how it isn't attainable. But just the idea that we're now talking about Sunderland, Bournemouth, and Brighton playing in Europe.
No,
that
fair,
wasn't
fair
something
shout.
conceivable, really.
But I just want to see players taking people on again and playing nice football, getting people off their seats. I want to see where are the Joe Coles, where are those types of players? Do you know what I mean? That just have that bit about them that just go past people and do skills. That's why I like Shirky.
Yeah.
Because
It's not though, but that's because it's all about managers now. The managers make it about themselves, not the players, so they don't leave them to just go and entertain and play.
And stats and analytics and XG and this person.
You got another 3 hours.
That's on the red button. No. Very quickly then, top scorer.
Haaland.
See, okay, so you're going for Haaland, and I know he was top scorer last season, but why then would you not back City to win the league?
Good point. But I just think Haaland will score, like, he's just a joke, that guy. Double digits.
And maybe more so because Arsenal share it around goals.
Maybe, but I just think Haaland's a joke. Like, everything he does, he's just always in the right place. And we always talk about him on this show, but, like, I don't feel like he ever gets really the credit because maybe he's not easy on the eye. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's saying, oh, Haaland should be getting the Ballon d'Or, but he should be up there. This guy is, like, come to the league and just breaking all records, and he scores goals and he makes it look easy.
And also, when he score a goal and it's just like you just go, oh, Haaland scored, or get two and you just like, oh, Haaland. It's just you expect it every single. This weekend, I expect him to get at least two.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just so expected of him now.
I think often the critics of Haaland will be that he doesn't get as many touches on the ball, all those kind of stats that actually are irrelevant for someone who's a goal scorer. And if you can put it in the back of the net, that's all anyone should care about.
Last year or the year before when he touched the ball 11 times. Scored a hat-trick.
And that's the stat you should be
exactly. Like, I don't, honestly, I was the type of centre-forward, ask my teammates. Some managers, like, I always wanted the ball. I hated not touching the ball. But some centre-forwards, like Haaland, I feel like Chicharito Hernandez was like that. You know, they just kind of wait. And it's an art. Like, he's in the right position. Whereas you're looking at someone like, and Harry Kane's a natural-born goal scorer, we know that. But Haaland's okay not touching the ball. Harry Kane will drop in deeper into the midfield. Haaland doesn't want to do that. He's like, I'm going there and I have that endeavour to get to the ball. And I think he's unbelievable.
Okay, so Erling Haaland is your top scorer. We're going to save your surprises, your surprise packages, or maybe it's a surprise player, I do not know, for after the break. And maybe have time to discuss some of the new laws coming our way in this upcoming season as well.
Danny, when you look at it, United in that fairly congested midfield area, say Baliba comes through the door, Tielemans is there, Santos, Mainu, Bruno Fernandes. Well, it's going to be a mighty old force in midfield, is it not?
It looks a very strong group of players, all giving little different parts of what you want. A far cry, really, from what we've seen over the last couple of years. United struggling in midfield areas. And I think we're talking about one of the biggest clubs in the world. They'll be looking to try and compete for the Premier League and the Champions League in the next couple of years. Of course they will. That's the aim of a club like Manchester United. So you need at least five, when you think about it, in the middle of the park who are going to be pushing each other, especially if they play a three. You know, Bruno's probably the one standout, you say, in all the big games he's going to play. Yeah. He's got great durability anyway, and he's the match, the game changer, the match winner, the creative force, the goals. I would imagine for me, out of the others, Santos, Baliba, both young lads, both got more to come. Tielemans is more rounded, more ready to take that on. I think Tielemans has
Where's it leave Mainu? A lot of people asking me to ask you that. Well, and what's your ideal starting three?
I think that would depend a lot on where they're at when they come in and how they adapt to the pressure and expectation of being at Man United, because that's never easy. I think initially he might go Tielemans, Bruno and Mainu, because Mainu knows what the manager wants already. I think Baliba will become one of the main men.
Thank you very much for tuning in to kick off for this Thursday evening. It is Ashley Williams, Lianne Sanderson and me, Natalie Sawyer, with you until the sports bar. Very quickly, Bradford have beaten Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough to make it 2 wins out of 2 in League One. And of course, tomorrow the Premier League returns, which means Premier League All Access. Our podcast is back with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook, Troy Deeney as well ahead of the opening weekend. And Troy has shot down Adrian Durham's claim that Manchester City should have kept hold of James Trafford.
Let's see if James Trafford is this good at Leeds, because here's another one. We did see him at Burnley, right? We did see that, and then he didn't get any blame because Burnley were terrible. He went to Man City. Within 2 weeks, they went, we need another goalie. So let's see, because again, we're doing this whole Kobe Mainu thing, Rashford thing, where we've announced that I think Durham said something to the effect of he will be in the conversation for the Euros or something, pushing Jordan Pickford. Let's see. I don't see it. He's very lightweight. For as good as he is with his feet, he makes a lot of mistakes that cost goals. So let's see. I wish the guy well, but let's see.
Okay. I like the fact that Troy's wearing talkSPORT merch.
I was about to say, where's our merch?
Very good of him representing, as always. Interesting take there on James Trafford, who has now moved to Leeds, of course. But that's Premier League All Access season preview, available now wherever you get your podcasts, and twice a week throughout the season as well. I want to get to your surprises of the new season, and I wonder if it's the same, because you kind of both said something, and I want to hear. Go on then, Ashley. Let's go to you first.
I've gone for a team, and it's Newcastle.
Okay.
And the reason I say that
And
is
you,
because
Lianne is also
How
silent.
funny. And we haven't even spoken about this.
Not conferred in this.
We haven't. I swear.
No,
Go on.
I can't see what you.
My writing's terrible anyway, and if you could.
No, but what I think is I think the consensus is they'll struggle. But given the rest of the league, which is what we've already discussed, and just the fact, like I'm looking at the back four, the defenders, they've still got, if they keep Livramento, Hall, they've still got Dan Burns, Shah, Malik Chow, Joel Linton. Maybe they bring someone else in. They've got the new manager. Don't really know too much about him, but it's a massive club. That stadium can get behind them. They're like an extra man. I think that they could, what I'm saying is they could do better than we're all sitting here and thinking. I don't think they'll struggle.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, obviously losing Eddie Howe as well, finishing 12th last year. You're right to mention the players they still have. I think people will focus on Tonali not being a Guimaraes as well. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be as bad as people are thinking. It's funny that we thought the same thing. Because like Ash said, the Newcastle fans are incredible. Manager's a little bit of the unknown, but I quite like him. I've seen him, got a bit about him. Young manager, but when I've seen him conducting the training sessions, he's having himself, and I quite like that. You know what I mean? He's got that confidence when he walks into a room. He's like, this is what I'm doing. So, yeah, I think they'll be all right.
Well, I mean, we have seen
Anthony
that.
Gordon as well. You know,
well, we have seen that, though, haven't we? From previous managers walk in, they have that sort of savviness. Well,
he's not arrogant, though.
No,
He's
but
got
they
that
have
bit about him that he's got that belief.
You have to have that anyway, don't you, as a manager coming in?
True.
As a newbie that a lot of people are already writing off.
I like Eddie Howe as well. I mean, it's a big shoes to fill based upon the fact that he's that likeable guy, isn't he? But with all the players that they've had to get rid of, there was no real reason for Eddie Howe to really stay there.
Looking at their transfer activity so far, I think it's 18-year-old, 20-year-old, 20-year-old, 20-year-old. Is the one issue for them is that they have to bring in more experience.
Yeah, and
they've lost.
And this has been an issue from before. A lot of players they tried to get and always missed out on, and then had to go and get someone else. Johan Visser and Voltemada and all these types of players. I'd like to see them do a little bit of business before the window closes, probably in attacking areas. I think the fans would like that also. Someone a striker maybe, or someone that's going to get everyone off their seat, bring some goals. Since Isak's gone, they've struggled in that position. Voltemada didn't really do it. But these players might... Visser's a good player. We've seen him play good for Brentford. Voltemada, we hope, turns into a good player. If they can get another one. But like you say, the only reason we're talking about them as a surprise package, because kind of they've been wrote off a little bit. And we're just probably both saying we don't think they will be.
Okay. Well, Newcastle fans are going to love that. But you're right about the experience that they've lost with Tonali, Gordon. You can also, Guimaraes, Trippier is another big name that they've lost. There is a lot of experience that has been lost in that team, which is why I fear for them, only if they can rectify that and bring in some more elder kind of statesman, because that was always the issue with Chelsea, as we know. And that's when I'm looking at the players that they brought in. I just have that fear that they're maybe a bit too young. Then again, you say that everyone talks about exuberance of the youth, and maybe that's going to be a good thing for Matthias Jaisler. That's a nice name, isn't it? Jaisler.
You did well there, Nat.
Thank you.
Very good at your job. Pronunciations. Very good pronunciations.
That's it. You can do your pronunciations. That's as far as it goes for you, though. I appreciate the compliment nonetheless. So that is it for us, I would say.